Oh, we've been muted all this time. Oh boy.
Oh.
That's okay. It's practice. It's practice. So, thanks for listening to our pantomime, guys. Tuning in to Space Rock Cafe, hosted on the Bard Rock channel. We are joining everyone right after all of the holidays. We have not been playing since right before, everything kicked off. We are sponsored today by Dragon Master Games and Fan Roll Dice over on Bard Rock's channel. And you'll notice today during the game that we're using a Wild Magic table for everyone on 1s and 20s. And then sometimes when they're casting spells or doing other things, it might trigger as well. But that is from the DM's Guild. It was made by Dave Panfio. And also, we wanted to wish a very wonderful happy birthday to the usual DM of Bard Rock Cafe, Kenny. And then we just went around everyone, introduce themselves. We'll do same order.
All right. Hello, I'm Paul, and I play Captain Jake Swallow, the washout from Waterdeep's Bard College, who somehow acquired a living spelljammer ship and assembled the crew, who for some reason are okay with him being in charge.
I'm Allison. I play Saros, new addition to the crew, just hoping to get by, going from planet to planet, searching for a star, hoping to find.
I'm Coach Zero, the Unsummoned Skull. I usually do things that are related to magic, but I also do some D&D things. I'm playing Amar the Swap, who is the navigator, who leads with different kinds of compass sometimes. Different little, I guess you could say.
And I am Ursa Bearwalker. I do bear things on Twitter mostly, but I also sometimes edit for the Bard Rock Cafe on their regular podcast. I am playing Paulie. I am the ship's chef / cook, and basically trying to make sure that things don't get too out of control.
Sweet. And then I'm Xtina, your GM for the evening. I forgot to introduce myself again the second time, but instead of doing a DM-driven recap, we did a recap hosted by, in character, one of the characters, and Jake had volunteered themselves. Jake will let you do that recap again, now that everyone can hear us.
All right, hello, me hearties, and welcome to Space Rock Cafe. I'm Captain Jake Swallow, the captain of the ship, and I want to let you know, last time you didn't join us for our adventure, we landed on an island on a small planet to get supplies. We bought some booze, we stole some swag and some hearts, and then we fled with everyone looking for all the stuff we stole.
He took my grandma's lamp.
It seems like a bright idea.
I told you about putting that in past tense.
I said took. Took is past tense, I think.
But it is not else anymore, is what I'm trying to say.
No. Think of a legacy thing. You're still here, so by the transitive property, which Jake would probably not know the word for, it's still in your grandma's possession in a way.
Lorelai just looks very, very confused and is just like
Jake, that's
trying to
not how
count
that works.
somehow on their hands.
All right, I would like to cite the legal case of finders versus keepers.
Wait, do we have to know about legal things to be on this ship? Because I don't know anything about legal things.
Why don't you just go push your muffin button and
Jake saunters off to his room to push the muffin button.
And then, just for everyone in general, we are down one crewmate today. Arnil is currently living in the walls, I believe, sleeping in the walls.
Yeah, he's sleeping very soundly with his lamp.
Yes, with the new lamp. Yes, perfect. So everyone is sailing. You are sailing west towards the island of Vromia, is where you had been told to head off to. You were leaving the island of, the island of Prasinos. On the world of Geomezoe. So far, as you guys have been traveling, it's still pretty early in the evening. It's unusually warm for the time of day from what I think a lot of you are used to in this early sun setting kind of situation. The time of day that it is, you can see many of the stars in the sky, but you can still sort of see that like orange amber glow right over the horizon, which is almost unusual, I think, probably for some of you that are used to the regular world with Waterdeep. So if any of you are from other worlds, that may not be totally unusual, but some of you may think that a little strange. But the temperature is a little bit warmer. It was just kind of summery, I think, on the island for most of you, but it wasn't something that was totally weird. But as you're sailing along, that is something that is easily noticed, I think, by everyone. Yeah, what is everyone doing as you are heading west on this 5-day adventure?
Coming out of his room, munching on a muffin, Jake walks up to Saros, puts his arm around. So you wanted to hear about the stars. Let me tell you where the stars are called where I come from. That one there is called Dolly Parton. And that one over there is Miley Cyrus.
You're very unusually named stars. I don't think I have those on me just yet. Do you know where they're located in relation to the others?
I don't know how to describe spatial placement in space. Amar?
Yeah. They are up there in space. What did you want to know about them?
He said there were two that I don't believe I have. I don't know where to put them. I tried to be as accurate as possible. It helps with the remembering for the ones that I've seen.
Was he talking about the Rebecca Blackstar?
Oh, she's not
That's
a
what you
star,
can
she's just
only-
a ball of gas.
No. You can see that one very clearly on Fridays. That is how you know it is Fridays, because you see the Rebecca Blackstar. Otherwise, there's no real way to know.
Oh, that's right. She's right next to Katy Perry. I remember I saw them both last Friday night.
Yes,
God
but
damn!
the problem is
Oh,
the
it
Katy
hurts.
Perry the other night. See, the Katy Perry stuff will lead you to extraterrestrial.
You just have to make sure. You have to make sure that you avoid the Rebecca black hole.
Yes, you do not want to get sucked into that because, well, unfortunately, it does suck. Anyways. It is very good to talk about stars. What about the Twinkle Twinkle? Have you heard that one before?
I don't believe so. Would you by chance have maps that I could study?
You could, but and I can show you the maps. But while I get the maps out, do you remember the Twinkle Twinkle, Capitan?
Yes. I've actually been meaning to play a song for the crew for some time. Before I took on a life of piracy, I was a musician. And I pull out my lute, and I pull up a position right under the tree ant in the center of the top deck. And I'm like, this is for you, and wink at the tree. And I play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Roll a performance check to see how well this Twinkle Twinkle goes.
Alright, that is 18.
Okay, solid Twinkle Twinkle. Roll persuasion to see if it does anything to help the tree not be so mad at you.
Alright, I'm substantially better at that. That is 27.
Whew.
You feel a slow rustling of the ship, like almost like slow applause, begrudging applause. But it's you get that feeling that the tree is complimenting you, but still a little salty with you.
Oh, well, I hope it isn't salty. That's bad for trees.
Do not salt me. That would be bad.
I prefer your rendition of the alphabet.
Oh, yes. Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, P, O, N, M, L, K, J, I, H, E, F, E, D, C, B, A.
Wait,
No,
no, that
the-
is the
no.
Alpha Centauri bet.
Oh.
No. The sober
Can I,
one.
all of you roll me a d20 really quick? Just all of you flat. Just don't add anything. Just give me a random d20 roll.
10.
Jake got an 18.
12.
12, 18.
6.
10.
Cool. Nothing happens. Okay. So you guys are heading west. You guys, are you usually, oh my gosh, are you guys doing your normal navigation setup, or is anyone doing something different from their normal stations on the ship?
I'm attempting to get the star maps out so that Saros can see some things.
Okay. While you are going after these star maps, whoever is currently navigating this ship, I need you to roll me either a survival check or nature. Your choice.
All right. If Amar is busy, would that be me because I'm at the helm?
Mhm.
All right. Survival or nature? Let's see here. I have a +3 to survival. I have a +1 to nature. We're gonna go with survival. And that is.
And I'll say,
an
because
11.
you have that new compass, you can actually do it with
Oh.
advantage, because it's...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So 11 on the first roll. Second roll is a 5. So we're gonna go with 11.
11. It's
Almost
clear
having that
skies.
one there.
Clear skies, the ship's gentle shaking started to steer you off course, but you can correct yourself and go in a different direction, and not a hard thing to adjust for. So you're fine. Still on track for the evening.
Like, this compass you guys got is great. It doesn't look like it points north, but it's still great.
I'm dealing with a bug. Hold on one second. You guys can go about your star maps, but I'm trying to make sure this bug does not get in my drink. Okay. Sorry, I don't need extra protein while I'm drinking caffeinated beverages.
No, that was just our standard for Mr. Arnil.
Okay, Arnil, are you... You were just looking for the star maps. Are you looking for a specific star map, or just you would know where they are stashed?
Amar and I would know where they're stashed because some navigator makes sense.
Yeah. That adds up. Cool.
Now, is it any faster for us to go in space, or is just skimming on the water fine?
I'll leave that up to you guys how you would like to go about this. I don't. If you were inquiring into Rolloy, were you asking Rolloy if they might know,
Well,
or
I don't know if I was asking like if I would know based on the fact I'm experienced flying this ship if it's faster in space than it is on the water.
the speed is the same as far as the
Alright.
ship's experience goes. You don't know whether on this particular world if that would make a difference or not.
All right, Miss Polly, even or odds?
Evens.
All right, I rolled odds. You all feel the ship tip upwards as Jake gets bored of scaling on the water and launches us back into space. Just outside of orbit so that I feel like we're moving faster. Like kind of like how you mash the jump button when you're walking in a video game, even though it doesn't make your character move any faster.
You realize that it's a farther distance if we're farther away from a round planet, right?
I'm gonna roll an intelligence check.
If the speed's the same, the distance is greater farther away from the center of the planet.
All of you also roll perception as you're getting launched back into the air.
Jake rolled an 11. He's like, oh, right. Of course I knew that. I was testing you.
That was a natty 1.
Oh,
17.
Let's see, perception, so that's going to be 18. Well, it was a net 18, and then... I'll say 18.
any of you that this is not a hard check. Any of you that got above a 10, it's significantly warmer in the upper areas of the atmosphere, like sweating, sweltering warmer as you get higher in the sky. It wasn't something that necessarily you would have noticed coming back from space, just because most planets, when you're entering them, it's a little bit weird as far as temperature changes. But since you guys have been on the surface of the planet for a little bit, going back up and into the air, you're like, oh wow, it's hot for how not like up in the sky that we are. Usually it's cold here.
I believe Miss Polly has a wild magic proc.
Yes,
do.
roll
Do
me
I have
that
to roll
D100 when you
Just
were
one or
ready.
two?
One.
There should be 2 on a nat 1.
Oh, yeah, 2.
Okay, well, we have a 1 and a double 0 is a 1.
Yes.
And then 60.
I think I've gotten a 1 on the cleric table before. That would not be your result.
Well, cleric or druid.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
that's
looking
true.
at both, so. Hmm.
Divine intervention.
Oh, okay. I feel like that one's not super duper relevant right now, so we can ignore that one. Honestly, none of these are really bad, so I'll let you pick. Do you want 1 or 60, and do you want it from the cleric or druid table?
Let's go with 1 just because it's fun. 1's fun. And let's go off the druid table.
Okay. Go back down. For the next 8 hours, you will experience a wild magic surge every time you enter or leave your wild shape.
Okay.
So, you just feel this particular random, like, electrical buzz through your body of magic.
All right. That sounds like a thing.
My bunny ears perk up. Miss Holly, are you humming?
I'm. What?
Miss Polly, I hear you vibrating.
Okay. You know that I'm not into that. We've had this discussion.
That is... No, I meant literally like a hummingbird.
Okay, that just sounds racist. We've been over this. Not all birds are the same.
Alright, well, seeing that it's now sweltering hot, I angle the ship back down to the water.
Still warm, not as warm. It's just generally warm on this planet. Roy does chime in, just like, oh wow, those 2 suns really make a difference. That sucks.
How did we not notice that coming in, that it had 2 suns?
So, there's lots of local legends about the suns. For us, we just like to say that they're best friends and that they like to hug each other. So, I mean, every so often you can't see them. They just kind of sit on top of each other. That makes sense. And then, I don't know, one of them's slower for some reason than the other one. And so sometimes you can see both of them. And then we have days where it's only sun until they line back up again. And then we get actual night. It sucks because, you know, for people that are sensitive to sunlight, you know, they have to go and not be around outside as much, but
hold on there. Did you say that they occasionally lie on top of each other?
I mean, I guess that's I don't really know the right way to explain it, but yeah, basically. It's like almost like they're not really like on top of each other. Like they're not like the same spot, but like you can't see them both because of the way that I don't know. At least from the main world, I don't know.
I'm gonna walk up behind what's his character's name again?
Rolloy.
I'm gonna walk up behind Rolloy. I'm gonna put one hand on his shoulder and just say, you don't need to explain. They're being gross. You can just ignore it.
Oh, okay.
I was not being gross. I was propositioning, but I guess whatever.
Yes, Polly, it's only gross if there's a lack of consent.
This is true.
Jake might be a drunken, sexist asshole, but he is a woke one.
Mm.
That's womanizing. It's probably no, because he's into everyone. Over-sexual.
Jack Harkness.
Yes, I'm Jack Harkness, but as a bunny.
Stole the thought out of my head.
He's a Harknessizer? I don't know.
Oh boy.
Anyway, check out what I found below deck, everybody. I show my shiny new armor because now I have half plate because I'm a paladin.
Check out what I found, and I pull out the coin, and then I say, "Hey, Jake, you want to take a look?"
Ah,
Oh, no.
sure.
And I'm gonna flip it
Oh
at
no.
Jake.
All right.
Yep.
I'm going to reach out and catch it without like letting it actually finish being flipped, like in the air, so it doesn't finish the flip action. It's not like a dexterity check, like sleight of hand.
Yeah. Let's do sleight of hand.
This counts PvP because it wasn't supposed to be.
All right, that is a 25.
You can successfully catch it without flipping it, unless for some reason Polly really wants to flip it.
No, it's fine. It was
Okay.
just a casual toss. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I was like just snatching it out of the air as opposed to letting it land on a face. That's all I was doing.
Yeah.
I take it and having not let it land and do whatever it's going to do, even though in game I don't know it does things. I look at both sides. I'm like, this is a fascinating doubloon. Mr. Reloy, what can you tell me about this piece?
I don't know. My grandma just never let me touch it. She called it her lucky coin.
Ah, lucky coin, eh?
I guess so. I don't know if it's one of those weird old lady things or if it's like it actually does anything. Her house is just kind of full with like lots of weird stuff. Some of it does stuff, some of it's just cool looking.
Is this piece one of a kind?
Like she only has one?
As in like there's only one piece like this?
Ah.
As far as I know, there's only one of them. I've never seen her have another one, but I mean,
All
she
right.
could have had more, maybe.
Okay.
That moment where the player's taking more psychic damage than the character.
Reloy is gonna like over their head, always.
Alright, I go up to the tree ant of the tree, and I said, what do you think of this doubloon?
Looks particularly shiny.
Ah. Shiny, very twinkly, just like you. And I flip the coin, trying to persuade the tree to like me better.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So heads is nat 20,
All right.
tails is a nat 1. So where did I put this coin?
Oh, okay, you actually have a coin. I was like, I have a D2 here somewhere, but I can't see it in my little box.
Have a coin. All right. So
I have a D2, I just don't see it.
tails.
Fails.
Heads.
That's a nat 1? Oh, okay.
No, I was showing you guys.
Okay,
so
you're
that.
showing us. Okay.
Yeah. Ready? Ready?
Alright, heads is the nat 20. That's what we're going for.
Sorry. No, it's not.
Tails?
Tails.
Womp womp.
Also go ahead and roll me that wild magic surge.
Alright, 71 and 10.
All right, let's see. Treants do not sparkle. We are not stars. Why would you say such a thing?
I was commenting on your sparkling personality.
A personality cannot sparkle. That is impossible. I'm sorry, what were the numbers you said?
71 and 10.
71 and 10. Okay.
And you do have access to the paladin table if you want 2 more options.
Yeah, this one's pretty bad, but let me just
Okay.
check the other option. 'Cause I know you guys probably don't use Paladin too much on
Nope, just the Valentine's
Rock.
special last year.
No. That one's worse. Okay. You feel particularly scorned and a little bit more unlucky as the Treant sort of abashes you of trying to flirt with them. She's being very non-influenced by your words, and it seems to have an effect on you, although you're not exactly sure what this effect is yet.
Oh, it was worth a try. I tossed the coin back to Miss Polly.
Do you toss it?
Yeah, I just
Well-
underhand lob it.
Yeah, nothing happens this time when it flips in the air.
So I'm gonna whether it falls on the ground or not, I'm gonna take the coin and I'm gonna slip it into my breast pocket.
Perfect.
And I think with that, I'm gonna say, Polly's gonna say, so do we have any other business we need to take care of right now, or can I start making dinner?
Jake just thinks we're traveling west, so he's good.
Okay, so then Polly's gonna walk off and just start prepping dinner for the for that night.
Perfect.
Jake returns to the helm.
Sweet.
Once the maps are found, Saros is just going to gather them all up and sit at the base of the tree on deck and just spread them out, start studying.
So Amar has taken some time to get better at what he's doing since taking the feat skilled, and most of that relates to history and to nature. So since become really he's taken a lot of time studying the maps when he wasn't studying other bodies. Yes. So I was gonna actually start sounding semi-intelligent when talking with Saros, instead of just playing it off and being silly.
Oh, you know what? Maybe it's time we call those friends of ours that we had the race with. Maybe they can help us figure out how to get in contact with the Pirate Guild. And I pick up my speaking stone. And I dial the speaking stone number they gave us.
Okay, you dial the speaking stone number that they gave you. Rings a few times.
Look, hey, what? How the hell did you get this number?
Are you the bug people we raced with the other day?
What bug people? This is Arlo. Who the hell are you?
Captain Jake Swallow.
Ha, Swallow. Nah, before real, what's your real name?
That is my real name, Spider-Man.
Oh, and it is a very good name. Yeah.
Well, I apologize. Apparently, I was given a wrong number.
Who gave you my number?
Some bug people we raced on a spaceship.
Huh. You guys are on a spaceship?
Yeah, do you not have those?
Hold on real quick. Hey! Do you have a spaceship? Why not? No, we don't have a spaceship. This place is
all right, well,
stupid.
All right, tell you what, if I can just get down your location information, I'll stop by sometime and show you my spaceship.
That sounds suggestive.
It is.
I mean, I would also love to show you my mast, but I meant I'd show you the ship.
Please do not fly to my home and show me your wiener. I don't know how to be more clear about that. That's not what I don't want that in my day.
That's fair. Jake Swallows does not do anything without affirmative consent.
Wait, did you say that you're on the ground and you don't have a spaceship and your name is Arlo? So you are low on the ground? Ha 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 ha.
Hey, can I get his location information for reasons?
We're more than happy to rendezvous if you let us know where.
How about you let me know where you're at, and I'll take care of that.
Do you have the ability to travel interdimensionally and interplanetarily? Because otherwise,
know
it
my
feels like it
laugh,
makes sense for us to come to
maybe?
you. You just confirmed you don't have a spaceship.
That was that got retconned.
Jake, do you have your eyes on the road, or are you on your phone again? You're speaking stone again.
I gotta go, and I hang up the speaking stone.
Do I make you roll to see if you actually go off track with the speaking stone?
Do it.
Yeah, do it.
All right, that's just a straight D20. I got 10.
No, you're fine. Oh shit! And then you just reorganize the ship's location. Oops, bad number.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Turns out I have a short attention span, and staying in the same place for 5 days is really wearing me out.
It's been 5 minutes.
Huh.
It has been the same night. You guys have not had dinner yet. Time has not passed. Time moves weirdly on this world. Not that weirdly.
I know the problem. Is there a way to get the ship to like just go to a straight line while I abandon the helm for 2 minutes?
You can ask.
Ship, can you just keep going straight for a minute while I go down to the supply room?
Fine. But don't
All
say
right.
that I never did anything for you.
Of course not. I genuinely appreciate you. You are the most valuable member of the crew.
That's all.
All right. I marched down to the supply room, and because I only gave the key to Polly long enough for everyone to leave the ship, I open up the thing and I get some booze. Jake's done being sober now.
Jake's done being sober.
There it is.
What was that?
Yep.
An hour? 2 hours? No, more
It was
because you
like a
guys ran
day
out of
because-
alcohol.
Yeah, it was like a whole day.
Mhm.
Yep. I get a bottle of rum and I get some of the hops. And then I return to the helm and I pop out like a little camping chair and sit at the helm while drinking a beer.
How is your dinner going, Polly? Would you like to roll to see if it's going well?
Sure. Why don't we do that?
Cool.
So, just a D20?
Yeah, D20 plus your proficiency. I assume you're proficient with chef's tools or whatever they are labeled as in D&D world.
Yes. What do I have for proficiency?
You guys are currently a +3, I believe, at level 5.
Okay, then it is 15.
Solid dinner. It is pretty on par with what you guys are used to, and you're pretty impressed with it yourself. Just like, perfect spicing.
Yep. So last time we were at last session, we got a bunch of fruits, vegetables, and grains. So Polly's kind of playing around with trying to make something familiar with some unfamiliar fruits and vegetables. Trying to see if I can come up with something that would be nutritious as well as not taste like absolute garbage, because you don't want that. Oh, and I do need at some point from you, I do need the fun recipes from Grandma to try out. I won't be trying those now, but right now it's more just trying to get a handle for what the different fruits and vegetables and grains taste like.
They're pretty similar to a lot of other ones that you've cooked with before, so nothing too outlandish right now. Roy has kind of sat down at one of the chairs and is watching you cook, and occasionally chimes in like, "Oh no, you gotta cut it that way, because otherwise you'll like nick the seed, and the seed makes everything bitter if you accidentally cut it. It's still edible, but it just tastes less good. And then, like, every so often we'll chime in with a different thing, like, oh, make sure you, like, really smush this particular thing so that, like, it actually cooks well, or else it, like, won't, do what you're thinking it will. Just random things, every so often about certain pieces of the food that you are making. And then occasionally turning over, looking a little green, putting their head on the table, trying to get used to being on a ship because they are not very seaworthy on water or air. But yeah. Solid.
Sea or air legs, depending on how Jake feels at the moment.
Yeah.
Can I... Would it be possible to use lesser restoration to cure the sea sickness or the ship sickness?
What is the exact language of lesser restoration? I'm not sure if that would be doable. We can see.
You touch a creature and can end either one disease or one condition afflicting it. The condition can be blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned.
I don't know that you would classify seasickness as a disease.
I mean, nausea is a symptom of a disease.
Is a symptom of a disease. I feel like it could be argued either way. Yeah, you can try.
Okay, cool. I will do that then. So I will cast lesser restoration.
How long are the effects of lesser restoration? Just it says it cures it, or does it have a time limit?
It says I end one disease or condition afflicting it.
Okay. Yeah. You do that. Roloi looks a little bit less green, a little bit more stable. Just, oh, hi. Why did you touch me?
You were looking a little. Roloi is just a human-looking humanoid. Yes.
I believe I described them as elvish.
As elvish.
Half elvish.
Okay.
I don't remember if I said they were a half elf or a full elf, but they are elvish in some way.
But they do not already have a green complexion, though, correct?
No.
I wanted to make sure that when I say green around the gills, it doesn't come off as offensive. So,
Sure.
you were looking a little green around the gills. So I thought I'd give you a little helping hand. It's a figure of speech.
Does Miss Polly proc wild magic casting lesser restoration?
Do I?
Do you? No.
And I appreciate the help showing me how to handle the food so that, you know, I don't accidentally end up poisoning a member of the crew.
That would be bad. I would also like to not be poisoned. Your food smells really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Also.
Now that you're feeling a little bit less nauseous. Just a word of advice: when you are nauseous, probably not the best idea to be around cooking food. Tends to make things a little bit worse. But you know, maybe you can go explore the ship a little bit. I'm pretty sure that Saros and Amar might be hanging out over by the Treant. Maybe you want to see what they're doing. I mean, you might be tired of Amar at this point, but who knows?
No, Amar and I had a really interesting conversation on the island. So, no, I'm not tired of Amar. I'll go find them if I'm bothering you.
Oh, no, it's fine. Either way, I just, you know, you don't need to feel like you're stuck here because you're nauseous. You can go explore a little bit if you like.
Oh, okay, I appreciate it. Roloi will just kind of still sit there. Just, I appreciate it and stay sitting.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go back to finishing up dinner.
Cool. Anyone else doing anything? Or
Jake, while he's selling his beer, is like, Ship, do we have any records on the Pirates Guild?
on all of the pirates guilds, or
the
one
Spelljammers,
in particular?
the Spelljammer Pirate Guild that those bug people told us about.
From what I know, there are multiple locations of the Pirates Guilds located across various worlds. Often, they are inside of larger cities. If you're going to find them, keep an eye out for mischievous people. They usually have specific symbols, indicating that they are of the Pirates Guilds. Although, it can vary depending on the world.
Mr. Roy, I just kind of shout over. I use the comms to call down to the kitchen. Do you know anything about a Pirates Guild on your world?
Rolloy kind of jumps, is not expecting that, realizes that it's a speaking stone kind of situation.
I expected the Techno Druid to be familiar with speaking stones.
No. From the Artificer Island, they are familiar with speaking stones, just it shocked them a little. They are a very jumpy person. And they kind of jump a little bit. They're like whispering to Polly, they're like, can I just like shout back, or do I have to do anything?
Yeah, it's right over there, and I'm gonna point to it.
Oh, okay. We'll go closer and just kind of like, yeah, I mean, you can...
You don't have to be that loud.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, dear, I'm a rabbit. I have good hearing.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, we see pirates sometimes on the island. Grandma usually chases the bad pirates off. Sometimes there's not as bad pirates that come around, and those ones are cool because they bring us fun things to make technology with. I don't really know how she determines what's a good or bad pirate. What did you want to know specifically?
I'm trying to get in contact with other pirates when we hit the mainland. I was curious if you know what symbols they have, if you've seen them before.
Huh, okay. Let me see if he remembers exactly what. Yeah. Okay, so he thinks for a second, and then they're kind of like pondering, and then do the aha kind of motion. They're like, yeah, actually, I do remember. There's this like sun, so we have two suns on our world, so they have these like interlocking suns on their flag, but there's swords also that are crossed over each other. So I guess like in a lot of books I read growing up, they always did like the skull and crossbones kind of thing, which doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know why that's a pirate thing, but they have suns instead. You know, maybe it's a comet. Maybe it's not a sun. Maybe it's a comet. But anyway, it's some kind of fiery symbol, and then there's swords.
Huh. Jake writes down note, update pirate flag. Thank you, Mr. Roy. That will be all. And I hang up my speaking stone.
Do I need to do anything to hang it up?
Just leave it there.
Okay. Rolloy goes back to sitting down at the table. So you guys are all set for the evening. Are you guys doing anything specific at dinner time? You just want to progress to the next day? I'll leave that to you guys if you guys want to keep this current evening.
So is nighttime going to actually be dark?
It seems like, and you guys have been traveling for about an hour or so, maybe a little longer than an hour for the time it's probably taken you to make dinner. It's gotten a little darker. It kind of seems like it's settled out. It's dark enough that you can see stars out, but it doesn't seem like it's going to get like midnight dark.
Okay. So at some point, unless someone has something they want to do before night, I have something I want to do at night.
When the sun sets, Jake sings the song Music of the Night from Phantom of the Opera.
Oh.
And of course, he's singing to the tree ant.
You are rather talkative today.
I
And
was sober for so
singing.
many hours.
Yes. Were you sober when you crashed me? Or were you not sober when you crashed me?
I was not sober when I crashed you.
Do not do that again.
I promise I will not crash you again on purpose, at least.
You do know I die if the ship dies, right?
That's why I'm promising not to crash you.
Okay. I don't know if I fully believe you. But I will trust you for now.
Alright, tell you what. I asked the ship very nicely to take the helm again, and I put the alcohol back in storage.
I trust you slightly more. Still not completely.
I won't drink while I'm at the helm anymore.
Okay. She's still pretty bitter, but I mean, warm it up a little. The persistent efforts seem to be getting you somewhere.
And on my way back from the storage room, I pop in the galley and grab some of the carrots.
Polly made sure that there's like an entire bucket of carrots because she knows that this is just Jake's MO.
Polly, you can roll perception to see if you do notice that Jake comes back without alcohol, though.
That is 19 plus 3, so
Yeah.
22.
You fully clock that something's different.
You feeling okay there, Jake?
Oh yeah, I'm feeling fine. Why do you ask?
You just seem like you're missing something, that's all.
Maybe I just don't have enough pep in my step. And I crunch a carrot and walk away like nothing's wrong.
Polly's definitely gonna take note of the fact that Jake doesn't seem to be drinking and didn't draw attention to the fact that he's not drinking, since that seems to be all he talks about when he doesn't have booze. So once the sun has set and it's got darker, Polly is gonna she's gonna leave the galley and she's gonna walk up to wherever she can see sort of outside the ship and see the sky.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that's gonna be where the train is or if it's gonna be on the helm or where that is. But she's gonna sort of stare out at the sky and she's gonna think about what Saros said to her when she was when they first got into town. They were sort of wandering the streets. When Saros first started talking, she said Saros said that they said that that Polly's feathers looked like the night sky, and it's one of those things like where you see something so many times that you don't see like some aspect about it until someone points it out. She's literally never considered the fact that her plumage could actually look or be mistaken for the night sky. So she's gonna take one of her sort of like loose feathers that's kind of like dangling there. She's gonna pick it off, and she's gonna kind of just like hold it up to the night sky, and sort of start to see that in fact you do see. It's not quite a 1-to-1, but it's almost as if the stars are represented on her feathers, and it's going to sort of resonate with her in sort of a deep druidic way, that she's going to start to develop this sort of relationship with the stars and the nature of the stars, and that's how she becomes a circle of stars druid, she'll go ahead and she'll use these feathers as her star map, because even though again there might not be a 1-to-1, they seem to be at least close enough. And then once she sort of has this realization, she's gonna kind of solemnly go back to her room, which is in the galley, in her hammock, and she'll rest for the night there.
Wonderful. So unless anyone else has anything they want to do at night,
I do have one thing.
yes.
So Saros is going to wait until everyone has gone to their various rooms and kind of bedded down for the night. Is going to slowly creep back onto deck and walk up to the tree end and just go, "Great lady, do you have a name? Is there something to call you?"
Did I name your guys' ship in one of the early episodes? I can't remember if I previously named her or not. If I can't remember, then we will go with a no.
I remember we joked about her name being
How
Alexa.
are you? We did make that joke. I don't know if that was the actual name that was settled on.
I don't remember if you decided it was canon or not. I do remember that's the only time we discussed her name.
We'll make it canon, I guess, because that's an easy one to remember is Alexa. So she kind of rustles a little bit. You see some of the leaves that were kind of furled closed are like open a little bit, like as though she was snoozing off after Jake had eventually wandered away again. If Jake had wandered away at this point.
Yeah, Jake is like sleeping in a hammock by the helm in case the ship needs to be directed, even though he trusts the ship to handle it while he's asleep.
Perfect. And you kind of see like this like face that's gnarled out of like the wood, kind of leans down, lower in the trunk, and like just kind of stares at you for a moment, takes you in. I am known as Alexa.
It's a wonderful name. Lady Alexa. I'm trying to have a moment. I was hoping to ask, you are such a tall, magnificent vantage, and it would be so nice to be able to see the stars every night. May I settle in your branches?
You want to sleep in my branches? Or
Yes.
just be up in them?
Both. I would assume I don't tend to sleep as much as others, so it would just kind of be and meditate on what I see.
As long as you do not harm my branches, I have no issues with people sleeping in them or otherwise being up in them.
I would never harm you in any purpose or unpurpose. It would not do.
Jake loudly snorts in his sleep in the distance.
You kind of see the eyes of the treant, like almost as though someone's looking over their shoulder. It kind of moves and then gives back to your direction. It's like, do you snore?
I don't know. I can't hear myself when I am asleep.
I will just move more leaves near you if you snore. There's been more branches that have gotten pushed in Jake's direction, slightly moving the hammock towards the edge, like almost on an angle.
The entire ship tilts a little bit. because the
Tilts
tree is
just a
moved.
little.
Record, I'm over by the helm, not by the ship, by the tree.
Some branches sprout by the top of the helm. The treant is connected to the ship. Just pushes you, puts a barrier. But you have been given permission to go up there. Do you need assistance to get up there, or can you climb yourself?
Oh, I'm very good at climbing. I can get up there myself. Thank you, great lady. And Saros will just kind of shimmy up the tree and find a nice little crook and kind of settle in to stare at the stars and just be there for the rest of the night.
Perfect. Yeah, so you guys are all good to go the night. Nothing happens. Yeah, you guys. Who wakes up first, or do you guys want to roll to see who wakes up first?
I want to roll initiative to see who wakes up first.
Yeah, roll me initiative. See who wakes up first. I'll also roll for Rolloy to see if he's a particularly early riser.
Wow, with my +6, I have a 10.
14.
4 with a nat 1.
17.
A nat 1. Wait, you said a nat 1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you proc wild magic while you're sleeping. I'm
I
hoping
hope
for
the
you.
tree doesn't mind.
Okay, I've got a 14 and an 85.
14 and an 85. Let's see. That one's fine. Go down to 85. Neither of these is good or bad, I think. Pick one.
85.
So you can't see this, but the Treant kind of beginning to wake up with the early sun does notice this, and as you are kind of like gently like swaying with the breeze of the wind on the branches, there's like almost a secondary version of you in every spot that you are anytime that like you're slightly moved.
Saros drops some LSD.
So it's like an
Lucy in the
after
sky.
image.
Yeah, an after image. You were unsure of this yourself because you're still sleeping at this point, but the Treant notices it and just kind of like takes that in and acknowledges that for themselves and doesn't wake you up. Like, weird. I'm not sure if I should worry about that yet or not. Okay, who rolled the highest on that? I think that was Jake.
It was Amar. Jake only
Amar.
had 10.
Okay, yeah, so Amar wakes up first. You, with the early rising of the sun, definitely notice this kind of thing that Rolloy had pointed out, where there's suddenly not just one sun. There's almost like one sun followed behind trailing by like another sun about at this point probably like not even 15 minutes later, because it's at that point in time for them where the suns were basically on top of each other, and so they're still pretty close to one another, but just barely. So it's like almost this weird shadow effect in the sky as they're coming up, and it's like brighter in that one spot, and otherwise it's a normal sunrise, just slightly brighter than usual with the changing colors. Very beautiful sunrise.
Jake
Very-
sings "Here Comes the Sun" by the Beatles.
In his sleep? That's
In his sleep.
Well, when he wakes up, I imagine the bright light of two suns would rouse him from his sleep.
But before he gets up, since Polly rolled
14, I believe.
14, yeah. Polly is getting up and doing the normal cook things, getting the stoves warmed up, all that good stuff. How does Jake drink his coffee?
Irish.
Just Irish, okay. So Polly's gonna walk up. Polly's gonna walk up to the helm with a cup of Irish coffee, ready to go for Jake when he wakes up.
Jake wakes up, smells the coffee, and says, "I'm so sorry, Miss Polly. Can you make me just a cup of regular coffee this morning?"
You want regular coffee?
Actually, that doesn't sound good. I'll have a cup of tea.
Are you sure you're okay?
I'm fine. I just made a promise.
Okay. I'll go see if, I don't know, maybe Amar wants an Irish coffee. Someone might want this. And then I'll sort of leave the helm, trying to find out if anyone else wants a coffee. Actually, no. Actually, wait. Polly's gonna walk. She's gonna walk up to the tree and see Saros in the tree, and the weird after image thing going on. And then Polly's gonna start drinking the Irish coffee and just walk back to the kitchen saying, "I can't deal with this right now," and start making tea for Jake.
About like 20 minutes later, stumbling into the kitchen, super duper messy bedhead, barely eyes open, rubbing sleep from their eyes is Rolloy. Just huge. Okay, I'm not used to sleeping on moving objects. It's really weird. Our house doesn't move. I'm not used to that.
Where's he stumbling into?
The kitchen.
Okay. Yeah, it takes some getting used to. Coffee?
Ooh. Is there cream in it?
I can. Do I have cream on hand? Oh, I have Irish coffee. So, I have a type of cream.
Yeah, we actually didn't think to buy dairy while we were on the island.
We didn't.
It would keep.
I have a.
How do you know the
type
ship doesn't have a box of colding?
Well, no, I was asking because I don't want regular cream. I actually don't drink that, but I know a lot of people do drink their coffee with regular cream. I'm kind of. This is so embarrassing. My grandma makes fun of me for it. I like oat cream. Does that make sense? That's not something a lot of people know about.
Oat cream. So like oat juice.
Yeah, it's like cream made from oats. You just like put water in oats and let it sit, and then you like smush it up a whole bunch, and then you put it in like one of those like cloth things that you put vegetables in sometimes, and then it strains. And I think some people use it like a milk, but it's not milk. I mean, I guess it's a milk, but it's not. Anyway, it's really good.
Do I have to roll and see if Polly can figure that out? Because I feel like that's a thing that she should be able to figure out based on that description. But
You can figure it out pretty easy, unless you want to roll.
Not particularly. It's
Mordo, baby, I'm sorry. Mordo knocked over the Spelljammer books and scared himself.
I was gonna say Mordo just body slammed something.
Jeez.
You're okay, baby.
Polly will go ahead and take a stab at making oat milk, since that's what's being described.
Is it like almond milk?
Yeah, but almonds are really, really, really bad for the environment. They use a lot of water, and we don't get a lot of regular water here. So, I mean, oats are a little bit better, just because we don't have a whole lot of fresh water. It's mostly salt water from the sea, and we have a lot of seawater. But salty almond milk sounds gross if it's too salty.
It's okay, we can't buy almonds. Every time I go around ports asking for nuts, Miss Polly tells me to be quiet.
Yeah.
Wait, does someone have a nut allergy?
Rolloy, how old are you?
I'm like 21, I guess, equivalent of that. I'm older than that, but for most people, 21 makes sense.
Well, I mean, I'm like 4 because I'm a friggin' Arakakra, but like,
I'm like just
All
over 100 if you want to be technical, but
Oh,
How
honey.
old are you all in human years?
21.
Humans are basically the fantasy equivalent of dogs.
Well, bless your heart. And then I'm just gonna go back to. So I fix up the oat milk, I don't know how much Roy wants, so it'll be like in a little container. They can pour whatever they want.
The coffee is mostly oat milk with a dash of coffee.
It's good because Jake did not want black tea, so it's great that we have oat milk now.
If Roy catches sight of Amar, Roy's like, "Hey, Amar, have you ever tried oat milk? It's really good, especially in coffee." And then holds up this mostly cream-based coffee.
It is so sweet of you. It is. It looks wonderful. I hope that you very much enjoy it.
Now, you know what you do to complete, Mr. Roy, you know what you do to complete the circle of life is you use the oat milk, to make yourself a bowl of oatmeal.
Ooh. Would that be considered oat cannibalism?
I mean, the oats aren't eating each other. You're eating the
You
oats.
know that?
I'm gonna roll intelligence check for Jake.
I feel like that's a nature check.
Well, I have a plus. All right, nature gives me a +1, so I have an 8. Jake has no idea whether or not oats eat each other when you mix the things in there.
You guys are starting to see a little bit more of Verloy's personality, because honestly, you only hung out with Verloy for like an hour and got this feeling of bored bartender from them before, but on top of being extremely naive things going over their head, they're also a little bit of a shit stirrer.
I like you, Roy.
Thanks! So far, I like all of you guys too. Saros, have you ever tried oat milk?
Saros thinks for like the longest time. No. Maybe. No. No.
Also, why is there more than one of you?
There is. He just starts looking down at himself and like spinning in circles. And, like trying to figure out where the other one of him is.
Jake
It's
holds up a
almost
pocket mirror.
dizzying because of the after image.
I'm finishing what's left of that Irish coffee because this is just too weird. Jake, I don't know how you handle this so early in the morning.
I have a tolerance. I barely even feel it. I think I heard the encounter table.
No, but I do need all of you to roll the d20s for me again.
17.
11.
Okay.
13.
Okay. Was that 2 13s?
18.
No.
18. Nothing happens. Jake, have you ever tried oat milk?
Jake holds up the cup of tea he has with oat milk in it and takes a sip.
Oh, right, you put some in the tea. Is it good in tea? I've never had it in tea.
It is good. And then Jake's like, thinks for a minute. Miss Polly, do we have coconuts from when we bought things?
I don't know. Did I get coconuts from them?
You got coconuts.
I got coconuts.
Honestly, of
yes.
all of the fruits you have mostly coconuts.
Okay. We can
Okay.
also make coconut milk if anybody desires.
Mm.
It's basically the same principle.
You know, you can make a really, really, really good drink if you have cinnamon and coconut cream. It's not like regular coconut milk. It's like the thicker part of coconut when you make it into like a milky kind of consistency. And then you put cinnamon in it, and then you put rum in it, and that's really good.
Ah, I am an expert on rum. I knew this. Jake's Bard College degree was actually in bartending.
Well, all I can say is I'm glad we got oats in the all in oats.
You're
Yeah.
funny, Amar. That was great.
can still hear you guys, by the way. The look he just gave me peeking over his computer.
Polly's obviously a little trash at this point. Because this
I
drink is too
Polly, and
early for her.
I'm tempted to use lay on hands to remove Miss Polly's buzz.
Stop it! And she like knocks your hand away. I don't want you to touch me. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Affirmative consent. I was trying to help.
That's right. That's right. You're right. You know, I give you a lot of crap, Jake, but you're actually pretty good, rabbit man.
Thank you. I appreciate your somewhat racist comment.
We appreciate the racist part or the comment part?
The comment, the racism I'm looking over.
Okay.
You can only say that if you are a rabbit yourself. That's my word.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shh. Okay, don't tell anyone, and I won't do it again.
So we should not make a habit of jokes about rabbits. Okay.
What did I just say about it being my word?
What, the rabbit? I thought it was a different word that was said.
No, if you're talking about me contextually, you can't use the word rabbit. If you're talking about an actual bunny, it's okay.
Oh, you said the word. I did not think I repeated the word that was said before.
No, see, when you're talking to Jake, you have to talk about how his hairs are gone. Yeah? Polly is gonna finish making dinner and then pretty much pass out in her hammock till the afternoon, till lunchtime, because she's obviously just not okay. No.
Especially since she's making dinner in the morning.
Yeah, she's making dinner. She got confused as to what she was doing. She started making dinner. So so instead of eggs, bacon, the whole normal gambit that y'all are used to, she first of all used the leftover oats to make, I don't know, what could you make with oats? It's not breakfast food.
Bread.
Yeah, she just made
Muffins.
bread. Just a bunch of bread. And a giant muffin that says Jake written in like little
Poppy
berries.
seeds.
Yeah, poppy seeds right on top. Just says Jake.
Yeah, a carrot and poppy seed oat muffin.
Oh gosh, that actually doesn't sound too bad. Very.
Okay. See
very
everyone later.
Really interesting.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Jake makes his way back up to the top deck. Mr. Amar, can you teach Saros all the knots and things for operating the deck of the ship today?
Sure.
I'm gonna have Mr. Arnil do it, but apparently he's sleeping in.
Staros came in while everyone was in the kitchen and was looking at the after image and trying, basically like a cat trying to grab its own tail. Though, if we're headed up to the ship, Staros would just go in and raid the kitchen and get some of the star fruit and just take it up with him.
How much of the star fruit did you take?
Like, enough for one portion. Like, just breakfast.
Okay.
Like a lost puppy, Reloy is just following whomever has the biggest group of people.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Reloy, you should also learn how to tie the knots and such. Is that something you already know?
No. I'm not very good at a lot of things, but I don't think I've ever had to tie... no, I've never had to tie knots before.
By the way, the knots that we are referring to are the things that keep the sailors on, not the how fast we are going, which are also knots, which is very confusing.
And not bedroom knots either.
Okay.
Well, although that is something that it looked like...
It is similar, actually.
It did look like Jake was trying to work out knots in Polly earlier, like in the shoulder. Different kind of knot again. Not that kind of knot.
There's a lot of knots.
There are not
Also, not the
very
same
few
as the ones
knots.
on the tree either. Those
Not
are also
really.
knots.
And things you're not supposed to do.
Things that are naughty. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Oh, you did not think I was going to forget, did you? But I gave you last night off. Whatever.
And so I pull out 50 feet of hempen rope and I start, while I'm doing the helm, I just toss it to Saros and Reloy. Like, here you go, practice your knots.
Is Roy decent at knot? Decent knots.
And all that like silly wordplay, I never actually said anything about how to do the knots.
Roy's just good at tying knots. They're not necessarily the specific knots, but they are knots. They can put a knot in a piece of rope.
Okay.
Not a slip knot, not a square knot, not a whatever other kind of word knots you use on a ship.
I was gonna say, you just said the only two knots I know the name of besides the one you use for your shoelaces.
Can I make the suggestion that Roloy holds up the knot and says, "These knots"?
Ah,
No.
ah.
No, that
Okay.
suggestion is ignored.
Oh.
Yeah. This is a very uneventful day for you guys. It is very calm, very sunny, very warm as the sun rises. Now that you no longer have the shade of a neighboring forest, it is very apparent that it is very, very, very hot during the day. You guys kind of got a hint of that at night when it was a lot warmer than you guys were used to, but it is not even like roll worthy. It is sweltering on the decks.
I'm gonna take the time to actually show them how to make the right knots, though. After the silly wordplay, of course.
Rolay's pretty average at it. Not a star, not bad. Probably the only thing, aside from bartending, that they are average at so far is not tying.
And not tying.
And not tying. Saros, if you would like to roll to see how good at not tying you are welcome to as well.
Sure, what will this be?
Survival, I think. Makes sense.
Okay, that is a 17.
Great at it. Pure natural. Pirating was life for you.
I get on my speaking stone. Miss Paul, in addition to all that bread, can you make some pretzels? Because they'd be great to have some not bread.
Quieter, please. But yes, I can make some pretzels.
Alright, let me know if you want me to come down and take care of that hangover. I have that ability now.
No, I need to learn from my mistakes. And Polly will start making pretzels because that is apparently what Jake wants.
I just wanted you to be in on the not jokes.
Are the pretzels the kind you make with lye, or are they kind that you make without lye? Like, are we dealing with explosive possible pretzels, or are you dealing with regular pretzels?
Exploding pretzel?
Look, if you mess up using lye in the kitchen making pretzels, you can have your pot explode. It's the thing. It's there and burn yourself really bad. You can also probably use baking soda because you're just trying to get the water to be basic, so it forms that crust on the pretzel. Anyway.
So my options are lye or baking soda?
I feel like we're more likely to have baking soda.
I think that's probably true. Yeah.
Just wondering.
I don't even know where we would have gotten lye from.
Yeah, well, the last time I had to dispose of a body, probably.
I mean, it's also used as a cleaning agent and disposing of certain. Yeah, cleaning agent.
I know
We do have a laundry room.
That's true. But I think we'd have borax for that. Is there lye and borax? I'm not going to Google that right now.
I don't think so.
Anyway, you
borax
should
is not super dangerous to touch, although it can. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just made with baking soda. So we'll go with that.
You guys make pretzels. Have pretzels.
Alright. I'm going to attempt something stupid.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Nefarious Mischief. So I need to roll a d4. I'm centering this on the tree. I got a 1. I got the effect I wanted.
Okay, what does it do?
The smell of apple pie fills the air around the tree. And needs to everyone around the tree needs to make a wisdom saving throw to become charmed by Jake.
Interesting. Including the tree?
Including the tree. The tree is a living thing. I just wanted to make delicious apple pie smell.
Let's see.
And it should be DC, I believe, 14 for Jake at the moment. Spell save. Where is that in D&D Beyond? There you go. Yeah, it's 15, actually.
What saving throw?
A wisdom.
Wisdom. Why does it smell like apple pie around me now? I heard you making pretzels, but they are not apple pretzels.
I just cast a spell to make it smell fresher up here on deck. I'm tired of the smell of the sea.
I really like the apple pie smell. Jake, you're really cool.
I assume everybody was folding knots around the tree because everyone likes hanging around the tree.
I was making pretzels, so
Well, not
probably
you.
me.
I meant all the rope tires.
Saros just kind of sits there with his eyes closed, just sniffing the air. I had advantage and rolled double 4s.
Yeah, Rollo, you got a 5, so same.
And Mark disappeared.
Yeah, Amar disappeared.
He went to go ask the galley for pie.
Jake, what are you doing? Can I hang out with you?
Sure. I'll show you how that helm works. And I was like, okay, so
what
you
do I
turn the
need
wheel.
to
When you turn the wheel left like this, the ship goes left, and I turn the ship gently left. Just a little bit to show off that it goes left, not to take us off course.
Okay.
And then this way it goes right. And if you want to take it to the sky, I'm not going to do this one. I mime pulling the wheel back and down.
Okay, so I will never, ever, ever do that part, because that part is weird. I don't like it yet. But the other parts make sense to me.
And that is basically the helm as a non-sea person Paul understands it. Here, would you like to try keeping the ship steady? I don't believe you need to be a spell jammer to sail it on water.
Sure, I can try. Surprisingly, perfect. Like, better navigation probably than you were doing. Wow, I feel like I'm not good at things, but this feels really natural. I guess because I was born on an island. Maybe I'm just good at it because of that. We do a lot of sailing. Just not with big ships like this.
That tracks. And I just, like, quietly reach over my speaking stone, like, it's Polly, if an apple pie was also available for lunch, I would appreciate it. Everybody's craving apple pie up here.
You just hear Polly in the background. First he asked for pretzels, and then he asked for an apple pie. What do I frickin' look like?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is your job title not the ship's cook?
Oh shit! I didn't realize that you could hear me. Yeah, I'll make the apple pie.
It's like, what do I pay you poorly for?
she lifts her brow.
On a phone call.
Yes, she lifts her brow at the speaking stone. just gives it a look.
Thank you, Miss Polly. I appreciate you. And I hang up my speaking stone.
Amar, did you end up passing that wisdom save against Jake's spell save for the charm?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Right, so Amar knows I'm full of shit and just goofing around.
I mean, it still smells delicious.
Everybody stay calm. I ordered pie.
Wait, so there wasn't a real pie?
No, that was me casting a spell to make it smell nice up here. I have
Oh,
arranged for pie because I caused a pie craving.
that was nice of you.
Thank you. This is why I'm captain, because of how nice I am. I am a good leader, and I pat myself on the back.
That makes sense. I believe you wholeheartedly. The tree just kind of chimes in. I don't disagree with you, but maybe not always wholeheartedly. And then
It's okay,
Roy
Alexa.
kind of
I'm
jumps,
trying
not
to be better.
expecting. You are... Tree stops. Was going to say growing on me. Pauses, so she does not say growing on me. You are not angering me as much as you did when you crashed me.
I'm trying.
I appreciate it. Verloy, not expecting the tree to talk, kind of jumps, realizes it's a treant, knows what a treant is, like, oh, I didn't realize that was a real treant. You, okay. Alright,
Yep,
that makes sense.
The ship is the treant. Alexa, Mr. Roy, Alexa.
Hi. Hello. That's... The tree's just kind of taking in Verloy.
And no, there is not a tree uncle. A tree aunt, hehehe.
Yeah.
You guys are pretty good on sailing. You can get through pretty much most of the day, no issues, unless you guys would like to make more food. Requests
Yeah.
for Polly.
Did I proc wild magic casting the Thayer's Mischief?
You did not.
No. Oh well.
Trying to get that wild magic to do
I'm
some
like, I have all
chaos.
these. I have all these spell slots. I might as well use one.
Might as well. No, nothing happens. It's a calm day, calm sea, no issues, no storms. Yet. Guys are fine. Just extremely hot, extrememely sunny,
And smelling of apples.
and smelling of apples. A little bit of burnt apples, honestly, because the wood is starting to char a little bit at this point.
Extremely hot.
Mr.
and
Roy,
also-
is that normal?
The sunlight, or
The sunlight charring our ship.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Is there some sort of check I can make for whether or not this is normal?
Yes, you can make a nature check, but probably a disadvantage unless you have something that would put it at advantage.
I can help.
If someone wants to provide the help action, then yeah.
All right. I'm gonna roll nature at advantage. First roll. It's a 6. That's not gonna do shit.
Mm-mm.
Second roll is a 4.
It's hot as shit, and you
All right.
know, it's just real hot.
Alexa, does the ship's air bubble thing work underwater?
Does the ship's air bubble thing work underwater?
If I sail the ship underwater to cool us off, will we drown? If you're not meant to function underwater, I will not take you underwater.
Can spelljammers go underwater? I don't know. Yes. Maybe. If the ship is built for that, it seems to be the rule. Spelljammer has no rules for piloting ships underwater. Okay. Let's see. Treant. No, I'm gonna say no. It does not seem like spelljammers, unless they are specifically meant to submerge underwater, are designed to go underwater as far as the ships are concerned. They are just meant to go and fly or sail as normal.
Right. Do I detect through the psychic connection I have with the ship that it took damage of any sort?
Yes, but slowly.
You feeling okay, Alexa?
It is very warm. And warm is probably the wrong word.
All right. I'm going to cast Healing Word on Alexa.
Okay.
All right. She heals by 7.
Cool.
And
Yeah,
do I proc Wild Magic?
More than sufficient, and... Oh, gosh. I don't lose my die. No, you don't.
Aw.
If
Mr.
I
Roy, the
had
ship is...
to-
Okay, sorry. You
If
first.
I had to guess, and this is a totally wild theory, it might have something to do with the 2 suns.
Hmm. Do we have a... Does anyone have a way to keep the ship cool? Any air conditioning spells, ice spells?
I mean, I can create and destroy water, but that's only 10 gallons at a time. Sorry, I can do up to 30 gallons if I cast it at level 3. But that's not going to be enough to cover the ship or do anything meaningful.
Well, we're just exposed. There's nowhere we can just get shade, unfortunately.
The alternative action is try to fly the ship faster somehow, or sail the ship faster.
Oh, okay, I got this. All right, we're racing the ship to the shore. All right, so Mr. Mark, can you cast Long Strider on the ship again?
Yes, yes, sir, Capitan. And I basically put my hands on the floor.
Cool. So you
All right.
guys are sailing basically double the speed?
Yep, and now I'm taking the dash action instead of the more leisurely pace we were moving when we thought we didn't need to rush.
Perfect. Yep, totally normal. Still nothing happens. You guys zip through the water. How do you think your individual characters are also reacting to the intense heat? Like, do you think you guys are used to hotter weather, like, from where you were? Or do you think this is something that your characters would be not accustomed to?
How hot
Jake-
are we talking?
Yeah, like on a scale of the North Pole to the Ecuador, where are we?
I'm pretty sure all of us use Fahrenheit here, the wrong scale. But yeah, it's north of 100 degrees.
Oh, okay. We're in South Carolina in this middle of sweaty summer. Got it.
Yeah, less humidity though, so it's like a dry heat.
So it's Arizona. Okay.
Yeah, Arizona.
No, not speaking from personal experience. What is the ventilation in the galley like, in the actual cooking part of the galley? Because that makes a difference. Because if Polly's cooking on a regular basis, which she is, she's going to be used to things being a little bit more toasty. But if it's 100 degrees and also the several increased degrees from stoves and ovens and all that stuff on, it could potentially be like she's cooking herself alive a little bit.
Oh, poor Polly. I think you probably have at least 1 or 2 windows,
Okay.
just for generally keeping an eye on things while you're cooking.
Yeah, so it's getting hot, but again, because Polly's sort of used to things being a little hotter, maybe she's pivoting towards making foods that are less stove and heat intensive, and things that are a little bit more stable at cooking at room temperature. A lot more sandwiches, fewer, and pies. I have to make pies for some stupid reason, but but after the pies are done, sticking more towards lighter foods to try to offset.
Reloy is seemingly unbothered, a little sleepy, but seemingly unbothered.
I'm going to burn a divine sense to make sure that there's nothing supernatural going on here.
Okay. What's Divine Sense's specific wording?
Divine sense, give me actions. As an action, I detect good and evil. Until the end of my next turn, I can sense anything within 60 feet of us that is celestial, fiend, undead.
No. Nothing within 60 feet of you.
Oh god, it's the sun. Not in the way we thought it was.
Nothing within 60 feet of you. Find sense says nothing.
Alright, well, there's nothing within 60 feet of us that's causing a problem, at least.
Nope.
Going through my paladin spells that I haven't, and seeing if there's something I could have prepared, because we did a long rest, and I do not see anything exciting I can do with a paladin spell. Prestidigitation, I get a lot of mileage out of you. Can you make it cooler? I can chill, warm, or flavor up to cubic food with non-living material. So I'm just constantly creating a cool breeze to keep the ship cool.
Aw.
I didn't want it smoldering.
Yeah, you guys notice that the Treon's leaves are a little bit more, like, crispy looking, just in general. Not really, like, burning, but, like, every so often, like, a little, like, spot appears in the leaf, and it sort of, like, turns brown and dies and, like, withers a little bit. The Treon's having a little bit of a rough time of this.
Oh, no. Alexa, is there anything I can do to make things better for you?
Get me out of the sun. I usually like it, but not this one.
Can't go underwater. We're in the middle of the ocean, so there's no shade. Leaving the planet won't solve the problem.
Maybe I can create a fog cloud. Maybe that will help.
Ah! Yes, obscure the sunlight. Perfect.
So I'm gonna try to, because it's so hot, I'm gonna try to make a fog cloud at the second level.
Okay. What is Fog Cloud's language?
I create a 20-foot radius sphere of fog centered on a point within range. The sphere spreads around corners and its area is heavily obscured. It lasts for the duration or until a wind of moderate or greater speed, at least 10 miles an hour, disperses it. At a second level or higher, the radius increases by 20 feet for each slot above first, so it's about a 40-foot sphere.
What is the duration?
Duration is up to an hour.
All right, so we have an hour of okay, so we have an hour of removing ourselves from direct sunlight.
Yep. I do have to concentrate on it, but thankfully Long Strider does not require concentration. And also lasts an hour.
Nice. Yeah. I think Fog Cloud would where are you casting it?
Since it's concentration, I'm gonna try to basically have it move along with the ship.
Makes sense.
So like just centered on the sky above the ship.
Yes.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, no, it chills out quite a bit as you do that. The dense fog definitely helps block out a decent amount of the sunlight. Every so often from the top branches, you'll see like another leaf like wither and fall, but it is tolerably hot down on the deck below, if not a little bit humid. But
can I don't know if it's better to water the treant or to try to make the fog more dense. So on the does the treant look fine now that it has some cover? Does it look fine at sort of ground level, like it's sort of recuperating, or does it look like it still has sort of like lingering heat damage?
she is better. Like there's a pained look on her face still, like this is uncomfortable for her, but it is slightly less bad than it was a moment ago.
Okay. Would I be able to use create or destroy water to make the fog? How dense is the fog cloud?
I'm not sure it specifies,
Sorry.
but I'm making it dense enough that light can't pass through it.
Like at all?
For that area, yes. It's not affecting navigation because you can still see past it. You can see
Okay.
farther than 40 feet.
Okay. Then I'm gonna create water around the treant to try to offset a little bit of. It's not gonna help with the damage from the suns, but it will at least help sort of rehydrate the treant. And I'm gonna do that since she looks like she's in pain. I will go ahead and I'll do that at 3rd level. So I will make 10, 20, 30 gallons of water for the treant.
That is a significant amount of water.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining us filling up like a giant version of those hamster things, so there's just a constant pool of water accumulating at the base of the tree.
Basically, yeah.
Alexa, is it possible to move the ship's mast so that the sails are shielding you from the sun?
I have never tried. It might be. We can try. You were asking to... Sorry, Mordo's barking, like, threw off my train of thought. You're trying to move the mass to shade the tree?
Exactly. I'm trying to use the sails to shade the tree. But that involves the ship rearranging its physical structure, which is why I asked Alexa if she can do it.
Yeah, I mean, so... She can. Let me see something.
I feel like our sails are also just for decoration.
Yeah, kinda. That's not the tree.
Where are the suns relative to us? Are they directly overhead?
At this point, not quite, but almost.
Okay. Because our ship flies. So, like, is there anything saying that the ship has to fly with forward facing forward?
I don't know if I understand your question that you're trying to ask.
Our propulsion system is magic, obviously, but like, how is the magic? Is it like a magic exhaust pipe? Is it a magic like jetpack? Like, what's the actual like propulsion itself?
They don't exactly explain that part of the living ship, so my whole thing is I imagine it's almost kind of like the tree itself has like this rudder at the back of it that's kind of like little spinning rudder.
Mm-hmm. Well, because since it's a magic ship, it doesn't necessarily have to abide by like the rules of an actual ship. Like, could we sail the ship backwards? Is basically what I'm asking. Because if we could, then we wouldn't necessarily have to move the mast. We could just reorient the ship so that the mast was shading the tree.
Then we have to listen to that annoying beeping sound.
Yes, we would.
I understand. You're trying to back the ship up to orient the mast to cast shade on the tree. Yeah, you can do that.
Can we rotate the ship in such a way that we can still go the direction that we're going, but...
Yes, I think that would be something that could be feasible.
Okay.
All right, Jake turns the ship around and shifts it into reverse. You see, Mr. Wood, this is the gear shift that ships don't normally have. And so you pull it into this position and it lets us go in reverse.
It's got a big sign that says, "Jake, don't touch this."
Excuse me, this is exactly my job.
Wait, Jake, you're not supposed to touch it. The sign says you're not supposed to. Do you want me to?
Turn the ship around.
Roy touches it. It didn't say I can't.
Help the tree in.
All right, and we are now sailing in reverse.
Yep. There's shade being cast on the tree. Still, tree is just generally doing unwell with the heat, but is not pained. It seems like the shade is definitely helping with on top of the fog cloud and the sufficient amount of water for the tree. But yeah, You guys are going relatively quickly. I'll say that the distance that it takes you guys for, the next hour, are you prolonging long strider, or are you just keeping it up for the current hour?
Just keeping it up.
Okay.
And, I actually asked Mr. Lloyd during the hour, do you know if there's an island nearby where we can find some shade to park the ship until nightfall?
Not exactly. So, they're not really islands. They're creatures. Sometimes there's these tree creatures that come up from underwater. They can go underwater. They just kind of, I guess, let their leaves breathe. I don't know why they're okay in the sun, but I guess they're used to it. But sometimes you can come across them. It's not super common, I think. But they do show up every now and then. They're friendly usually, as long as you feed them. They like fish.
Miss Polly, do we have fish?
What do we have, like, nets on the ship?
You would most assuredly have nets on your pirate ship.
Okay, I'm just checking. I was actually gonna say that that Polly was fishing today anyway. So Polly has
Perfect.
the nets. Polly has the nets, and she's like holding them up, and she's like, "I'm fishing right now, Jake. Can you wait?
All right.
Can you wait just a little bit?"
Sure. Alexa, do you have any way we can find one of these tree island things to help get shelter for you?
I'm not connected with the creatures or plants of this world, so unfortunately,
Okay.
no.
Okay, I wasn't sure we have for long-term navigation there. Okay. If Mr. Arnil wasn't sleeping in the wall, we'd have him jump in the water and check. Oh, I pull out my compass. Is my compass telling me anything?
Head in the same direction you've been heading in.
Mm.
It is not pointing north,
Ah.
that is for sure.
I have an idea. Miss Polly, can I borrow that coin?
Okay. She picks it up.
I want-
She hands
I
it
want
to
to-
Jake.
I want to use the coin of absolutes to try and roll whatever check is relevant to find one of these tree people.
Do we know that it's the coin? I mean, like, you know that it's the coin, but does
I'm
Jake know that
I'm
it's the
asking
coin?
permission to use your thing mechanically.
Okay.
You
I mean,
can.
Polly has no idea what's going on. So, with the coin.
I'm flipping a coin
As
to
a
decide
DM,
what
I will
direction
allow
to
you
sail
to
in.
do this.
All right.
That, in the universe, Jake's trying to decide what direction to sail in to search for shelter.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. You're using the coin?
Yep.
Okay. You hold this compass and the coin, and you flip it, and the coin lands on top of the compass side up, and you see the edges of the compass begin to spin ever so slightly, directing you just slightly westward from the west direction you're going.
All right. And so without knowing whether I got a heads or a tails there, I'm going to go ahead and roll my 2d100s now.
Okay.
40 and 31.
$40 and $31.
And while you have the tables open, I cast Create and Destroy Water, and I think Amar casts 2 spells too.
You are correct. Oh gosh. Nope.
Okay.
Sorry, what were the numbers? 31 and what?
And 40.
31 and 40. Okay.
40 sounds vaguely familiar to me. It's almost like I've been doing this for 2 years.
Let's check the other one because because I don't like those. Ew. Hmm. No, that's not what I wanted it to do. Go back. Okay, that one's also not good.
I get 4 bad
Mhm.
results.
It's not even that they're bad. They're not good. They're not good or bad. Hold on. Okay, that's probably the best one of. Okay, pick either one. I guess these are both about pretty neutral of these two.
Let's go with 31.
Okay. What is Jake's alignment?
Chaotic good.
Okay. If you encounter anyone who is not chaotic or not good on any of that, like, you cannot understand or hear them.
All right, is there anybody on the crew who I cannot understand? So you think you'd be, if you're neutral and not good, or not, if you're any combination of good and evil that doesn't include chaotic or neutral.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I guess, how does does the entire neutral line work, or is it just, no?
No. So like neutral evil, you wouldn't be able to hear them. Neutral, you wouldn't
Okay.
be able to hear. Neutral good, you would be able to hear because of the good. So chaotic evil, you could hear chaotic evil. Yeah. So it's just, I think
Yep.
it's just neutral, and then
Well, no, they should be able to hear them if they're chaotic evil because they're chaotic.
yeah, chaotic evil you'd
Okay.
be able to hear. That's what I said. I
All
backtracked.
right, okay.
I
So it's
think
the
we-
chaotic column and the good column.
I think we established that
Okay.
everyone is chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
Does that include Rolloy?
Yes.
All right, Jake is unaware anything weird is happening.
For now,
unless
nothing weird.
Alexa is not chaotic or good.
Ooh, good question.
Ooh.
You can still understand Alexa.
Awesome. All right, so I
Treants are apparently chaotic good.
awesome. That worked out great. And so I just gently shift the shift west backwards.
West backwards. Yeah, it takes not even half an hour. And over the horizon, you see like giant, like when you guys were on the island first, like you saw that giant billowing canopy of trees. Similar, not quite as large, like as far as like wideness goes. But you begin to see that like as you are approaching within about the half an hour. You were probably like, that's just like a tiny little blip. So it's not close, but you guys do see that you are approaching something that is tree-like in nature.
Right. In the time it takes us to get there, does Miss Polly catch some fish we can offer it?
Miss Polly can roll me. What is this fish catching?
Probably
Business.
survival.
Yeah, we're dragging nets on the ship.
I'm going to
Yeah.
give Miss Polly a bardic inspiration, by the way.
There's actually specific fish catching rules. Hold on, because there's no, there's specific fish catching rules as far as like what kind of fish you catch. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
With regards to alignment, I did have Amar as neutral good.
All right.
You're
Okay, good. So I
Which
can
is
still
one of
understand
the
you.
reasons why Amar didn't participate in the looting.
Okay.
Okay, it's not on this for some reason. Give me a second.
So in terms of who can understand what right now, I have him as neutral good.
You catch a shark.
Oh,
It'd be a very big fish to eat.
Fortunately,
It's a
feeding it
very
a very
big
big
creature.
thing.
Very large creature. Hold on. It's not in the quick reference guide. Let me look. Let me look. Oh wait. Nope, that's fire, not fish. Wrong F word.
F is for friends who do stuff together.
Oh, here we go.
U is for you and me.
Okay, it is a survival check. And then a D10, depending on how well you do.
Alright, and you do
Survival
have-
check.
Yep,
Yeah.
and you do have a bardic inspiration you can use now.
Oh,
It
what's
was a
the bardic
DC
inspiration?
15 survival check, specifically.
At our current level, it is. Why does the reminder check for bardic inspiration not say? Oh, dear, it's D6.
It's a
That's for sure.
D6.
Yep.
Okay, so I rolled a 5, but I have +6 to survival. And then I rolled 5 with the bardic inspiration, so it's 16.
Perfect. Then roll me
Wow.
a D10.
That is a 9.
Oh. Okay. You feel the net catches heavily. Like, aggressively. Like, you're having some trouble pulling this net up.
Okay.
Like, it's trying to go away from the ship. It doesn't.
Okay.
Whatever you caught in there is not happy about being in this net.
Someone
Okay.
help Miss Polly pull the fish up.
Please, someone. I have 0 strength.
Someone with
0
a
plus
relevant strength score.
I think your strength character might be in the walls.
I think he is. So I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look towards the direction of the net. Is there anything I'm gonna be able to see from here?
Give me a strength check to see if you can get the net above water.
Oh, I actually have a +2 to strength, and I'm half proficient in athletics. I'm gonna help. Is it better to
Perfect.
provide the health action or to do the roll?
I think helping is probably gonna make. more
Okay,
sense.
so that'll give you advantage then.
Okay, so what am I rolling for?
Yeah, just roll me athletics.
Athletics. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, at advantage. So that was a 7, and that is a 20. So a nat 20 plus 3, so 23.
Okay, yep. It is a big ol' eel. Big giant eel. Angry, shocky eel.
Is it actually electrify? Like, can I see? Is it? I'm looking at it, so like, can I see
Yeah.
anything? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then roll me
Do
those
I-
2d100.
Oh yeah. Jeez. Okay.
Very lively, shocky eel.
We got
Oh.
65,
Constitution of an eel.
65, and 56.
Okay.
Times like this, I miss Tasha's hideous laughter. How does an eel laugh?
I don't know. I can find out by casting Netheri's Mischief.
Oh, well, that one would be very interesting, but that one also would be bad, as interesting as that one would be. So we're gonna go with the other one. Seeing this big, shocky eel, you begin to feel tears streaming from your eyes, and you aren't really familiar with this spell, I think, yet. But at the start of your next turn, you cast the Blight spell.
Ah, I
also
remember
need
this
all
one.
of you to. Yeah, this is a fun one. I've not done this before. I also need all of you to roll initiative, please. And once we do initiative, I think we'll go ahead and take our break shortly after, before we enter combat proper.
All right, I have a 22.
22.
Initiative 16.
Polly was 16.
Yeah.
Okay. Saras, what'd you get?
6.
6. Amar?
15.
Okay. And for your friend, who is going to do his best, but is not making any promises as far as being actually helpful here. Yeah, that tracks.
It's alright, I'll have Mr. Roy take the helm while I fight the eel.
Question. Are you guys having the Treant help with battle?
With the eel, probably not. I think Jake would instruct the ship and Mr. Lloyd to keep the ship sailing forward while we subdue the eel.
You got it! I don't really want to fight it anyway. Kind of freaks me out. I don't like electric eels. Perfect. And then we will go ahead. We will return with combat proper. Take a 10-minute break, I think. That sounds good to everyone. And be back. What is that, 26? Yeah.
Yep.
So your time, 26. Bye. Hey guys, we're back. We left off just before the break, everyone rolling initiative, because we have currently encountered a giant lightning eel in their fishing net. So the crew is dealing with that. I think we left where Roy and the Treant are navigating the ship right now, while you guys are dealing with the giant lightning eel situation that Polly has just pulled up. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Jake got highest on initiative.
Jake did get highest on initiative. Alright, is the eel, like, on the deck now?
Polly, how far did you pull the eel up?
With a 23, I don't know.
23, I feel like you hurled it on the deck like you're the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
think-
more saying, like, with a 23, you get to choose, did you pull the eel onto the deck, or is it still off the ship?
Is relative to the deck, how large is it?
This is pretty big. Hold on.
Like, would it even fit on the deck?
One second. Let me remind myself of something. Because you guys have a 20-foot wide ship. Yes, it would fit on the ship. It's about 10 feet by 10. It's like 10 feet long and 10 feet wide. It's a chonky eel.
What?
Alright.
it's a blobus eel.
Okay, yes, I pulled this cube of an eel onto the deck.
That's a gelatinous cube. Alright, Jake's like, I also have a 10-foot long eel, and he casts Divine Favor on his sword, so he deals an extra d4 radiant damage when he hits stuff.
I hope your actual sword did not.
Yes, his real sword.
Oh, jeez.
So, do I proc Wild Magic, first of all?
No.
Alright.
You guys are getting close on these wild magic, like, from spell rolls, but not quite.
Alright, so I'm going to go up and where's my action button? And I'm going to do a rapier attack to try and hit the eel.
Okay.
That is a nat 20.
Oh.
Jeez.
Nice.
Alright, so let me do the damage first. Oh, I didn't do the right way to roll the crit damage. Hold on a second. So it's 11 for the first roll. And then it's just another d8, I believe, is the way crit damage works rule, right?
Mhm.
Oh, let's roll it.
So
11
19.
plus... Okay. Okay, so 19. And then I get... I assume I get 2 d4s for Divine Favor because I crit?
Yep. Divine Favor, if it adds anything, it's the same rules. So if it's
Okay.
usually a D4, then it's 4 plus whatever you roll.
Okay. Oh, we're doing Agents of Damned rules. Oh,
Yes.
cool, because I rolled a 4. So that's 8 more damage. And then I'm going to use not my defensive flourish, to use a Bardic Inspiration die to add 2d6 to that damage, because that should also work that way. Oh, 6 plus a d6. 5, so it's 11 more damage. And I gain 5 AC. So my AC is 20 until my next turn. And then I'm going to burn a smite. Because that doesn't use an action.
No? You can just do that.
Sorry, guys, you might not get a turn.
I don't think you'll need to worry about this blight at the start of your next action thing.
Is there a button for my smite, or do I just roll the damage? Your Divine Smite. I'm just going to use a first level spell slot to roll a d8, because that's all my paladin stuff here. There's the button to roll it. There we go. 3 on the 2d8, so is that going to be 16 plus 3 for 19?
Wait, I'm sorry. So it's a 2d8 for the.
Yeah, 2d8 is what does it base, but it's a crit.
So 16
normally
at base. No, you don't even need to roll technically on that for 16. Yeah, you just like abolish this like eel. Like it lands on the deck, and then whatever you do, it's dead.
And then so it's dead, which is good. And then I'm gonna roll for my natural 20 now on the d100s.
Yes, please.
53 and 2.
53 and 2. That was a nat 20. So let's see which one of these is good.
I know a 2 is on the bard table, because that was how I got God to join me in a bard off.
Okay. Let's check the paladin table just for fun. I feel like one day I'm just going to physically print this table. Okay. Okay. Do you want the bard option, or do you want the paladin option on a 2?
I'm gonna take the paladin option. The bard option, I have like a 1 in 12 chance of getting what I want.
I have to roll a d20. If the d20 lands on an odd number, I get to pick a random bad effect from this table. If it lands on a good one, I get to pick a good event from your paladin table.
I like it.
Even. Let's see.
All right.
That one's funny, but not useful. That one's potentially really good. That one's bad. Oh. Oh. What is his paladin oath, by the way? Like, just out of curiosity while I'm reading through this, because a lot of these have to deal with the oath.
I have 1 level until I take the oath.
Okay.
I believe you know who my oath is too, but I have not gotten the oath feature yet.
Okay. So I want to avoid those, because there's a few really good ones related to the oath specifically, but... Oh, okay. That one's funny. but not useful. Ooh. Okay. I've never actually really fully read this paladin table. Some of these are really intense. Wow, okay. We'll just do this one because it seems like the most hopeful potentially. Yeah, no, because that one won't be helpful because of the distance. Your favorite weapon gains an additional +1 to attack and damage for the next 8 hours and is wreathed in gentle purple flames.
My rapier is just on fire.
Yep.
Ooh, pretty.
This sword is on fire.
Yeah, so just add 2 damage to that hit that I did to the eel, because technically that was when the crit went off. It's still dead. Now it's extra dead.
Now it's extra dead and slightly charred.
Cooked.
Yeah.
And then just watches as Jake one-shots this eel because now he has paladin magic bullshit.
Polly is just looking at Jake and just goes wide-eyed. And then you see like a scowl start to form on Polly's face as she realizes that you partially cooked the eel that she was trying to catch for food for later.
Well, no, we're gonna feed it to the tree people.
It's a 10 foot by 10 foot eel. I'm pretty sure there'll be some to spare.
We're feeding it to an island. Anyway, anyone see me doing that? Because I won't be doing it again.
So as that happens, Amar starts to back off and goes back to navigating. All the while still keeping his hand on the ground for Longstrider.
Actually, I think Longstrider, you just need to touch them to cast. I don't think you need to maintain the touch.
It's concentration, but...
Oh, I didn't think it was.
Or no, it's not concentration. The fog is concentration.
Yeah, so I think you just touch them to cast the spell and you can walk away.
Okay. So yeah, all the while he's pointing up at the center of the circle. Yeah. Okay. Good thing you got this. Good thing you got this.
Interesting. Okay.
So how obliterated is this eel?
I stabbed at the rapier. The wound would be like the size of a dime.
Okay.
I just stabbed it real good.
So you just cinched it around like the hole where the rapier was. Okay.
The eel is appropriately filleted for an eel.
Okay.
You didn't think Jake knew how to fillet meat, but surprisingly, on the seal, great job.
I took a elective on cooking at the Bard College.
The electric sack or whatever is totally taken out so it doesn't affect the meat. Like, you know how on poisonous like sea urchins and stuff,
yeah.
you have to very carefully remove it. Similar.
So Polly's gonna look at Jake and lift the brow. You took classes on cooking.
I took a class.
And yet you don't know how to make toast.
I didn't say I don't know how to make toast. Did we canonically establish I don't know how to make toast?
I think she's just being coy, but...
Okay. I was like, I don't remember if that's a thing we did 4 weeks ago.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm just being coy.
I have never personally seen Jake make toast, but I wholeheartedly believe he could. I don't believe he could.
Roll for toast. Please roll to see whether or not you know how to make toast.
Alright, what check should that be?
I think it's just a straight D20.
That is a 13.
You know how to make toast.
Okay.
I know how to make toast and tea and eggs and like 3 other dishes. We basically covered breakfast in that cooking elective.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and I'll haul off the eel and I guess prep it so that we can feed it accordingly.
You do. Rolloy is kind of like squinting as you guys are slowly but surely getting closer to this tree in the water. And they're like, so some of these creatures I've been told can be bigger than others, and some of them can be a little bit more snappy than others. That one's a really, really, really big tree, and the more trees there are and the bigger it is, the older they usually are. And I think that one's a really old one, which is good for your ship, but it's gonna be a hungry turtle tree thing.
Do you think 10 feet of eel's gonna be enough for it?
I don't know. I just know them as like these big snapping turtle tree things. I don't remember what they're really called. But they can be a little bit just don't make it mad.
So yeah, I am excellent at talking to trees. And I turn and wink at Alexa.
Roll persuasion.
Doubt.
Oh, with my plus 10, it can't be that bad. 29.
Press X for doubt.
I got a 19 with a plus 10, so 29.
Let's see. Alexa, straight-faced as always so far. Your conversation skills have been excellent, although your physical action skills are to be determined still. You're making up for it.
I want to say above game, Jake restrains himself from making any comments by taking physical actions with the tree.
Probably a smart choice.
Very smart choice.
Alright, so we ease on up there, we get within like reasonable speaking range, but not to invade the tree island's personal space.
Mm.
And
Would you like some thaumaturgy?
yes, if you could thaumaturgy up, I might say hello to the tree from a safe distance.
Whapoom! You've been thaumaturgied.
Hello, I'm Jake Swallow, the captain of this ship. I'm asking permission to come into your area. Is that okay?
You see this creature moves, and how many of you speak Draconic?
I do.
That one. I took Celestial in common. Darn.
I think Polly might be the only one. Because I'd written down your guys' languages, and I think only one of you had it. Unless Arnil has it, but he's not here anyway. Okay. So you kind of hear this really, like, gurgly, like, watery, draconic voice responds back. And Jake, you don't hear anything at all. Physically, nothing. You just see this thing move. Polly, you do hear this. But Jake doesn't hear, like, sound at all. But you do get an affirmative. You may enter.
So what are you gonna do, Jake?
I'm waiting for an answer.
He's. Oh, you couldn't hear that?
Hear what?
It was loud.
Oh, just like a sound to me. You said I heard no sound. Did
You
I
heard
not
no
hear anything?
sound, but for Polly, it was loud. Like, the sea sort of felt like the boat, like, shook a little bit when it responded. Like,
He said
vibration.
He said you could. He said very clearly that we can go ahead and come on in.
Okay, I'm guessing this is like a language barrier thing. I usually have very good hearing.
Something like that.
So you just act as the translator. So I'm sailing closer and like, our ship is not designed for the intense sunlight of your world. We were hoping you could provide shade for our ship to protect it, and in exchange we can offer you fish.
Strange that you would have a ship not suited for the sunlight if you were sailing on the sea.
We are from a far-off land.
How far can the land be when the world is the same?
Let me rephrase. We're from a far-off world.
I'm gonna say though, like, unless Polly's acting as a translator this entire
Alright.
time, Jake has no idea what's happening. Like, there's
Yeah,
no
no,
sound.
I think we're short-handing this because
Yeah.
otherwise it's like, okay, Ursa has to repeat what I say.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
short-handing it.
the turtle seems to understand you just fine. It's more.
Yeah,
like
Turtle
you can't
understands
understand.
you
Yeah, so-
fine.
Yeah,
I
unless
believe we're
unless,
short-handing it.
unless I'm gonna say something intentionally in a convoluted way, then yeah, we're just gonna go with you.
Yeah.
You got it. 1-to-1.
Just wanted to throw that out there in case Polly wanted to be in any way like weird about anything the turtle is relaying.
Yeah, otherwise we're playing telephone.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the turtle said, how far can I didn't hear what Jake had
Right.
said in response to that.
Jake said, "I'll allow me to rephrase. We're from a far-off world.
A different world.
Yes, I come from the land of Waterdeep on the world of Faerun.
Interesting. How does that work?
Alexa, how does that work?"
Magic.
Magic. Yeah, Alexa says magic, then Jake says magic, and then Polly just reiterate, even though the dragon you understand says magic.
Magic makes sense. A lot of things are done with magic. You are interesting. And, like, as this creature says, like, you were interesting, like, next to the ship, this big, giant dragon turtle head appears. Just, like, looking at all of you and, like, overseeing all of you. Just staring at you very intently. Roy kind of screams and goes and hides behind whomever is closest.
Pleasure to meet you. I am Captain Jake Swallow. To whom am I speaking?
You see that it opens its mouth and responds. Jake, you still don't hear anything. Like, physically anything. Polly, it's even louder. Everyone else just hears loud dragon turtle. Like, draconic loud. What is his name gonna be?
Oh, right. I can't hear it because of alignment.
Hey, chat, do we have any names?
We're a little low on view count tonight. I don't think we do.
No, I don't think so. Okay, well, let's see. Hey,
I can think
husband,
of 6 famous turtles.
What?
give me a name for a
What?
dragon turtle.
Turtman.
Turtman?
Turtman. Don't let her turn into anything else. Turtman. His name is Turtman Turtmanson.
I love
The
it.
illustrious long line of the Turtmansons. Turtman Turtmanson is the latest in that line.
Just for the record, you could have named this thing Leonardo.
The dragon turtle loudly opens its mouth on like near your deck and says, I am the oldest and latest in the line of the Turtmansons. You may call me Turt for short.
No, it's like a Tribe Called Quest. You gotta say the whole thing every time.
Fuck you.
Drew should be happy. He got like 3/4 of what he asked for. It's a pleasure to meet you, Turt, and I introduced the entire crew. We genuinely hope that you will show us hospitality and shield us from the sun. For our unfortunate ship, Alexa here, the sunlight's just being really rough on her leaves.
It's still very interesting that you were all affected by this. I suppose if you were not from our world, then you are not used to the sunlight. Our trees have no problems with the sun. But yes, you may take shelter within my branches.
Thank you. Miss Polly, can you please present the eel?
Polly's gonna walk down to the galley. She'll come back up with the eel. What? This is gonna sound weird. By looking at Turtman Turtenson, am I able to glean anything at all about his taste preferences or their taste preferences? I know that sounds weird, but like, is there anything like super obvious? Is there anything that I'm gonna roll perception, and you tell me whether or not I can pick up on literally anything.
Have a bardic inspiration while you're at it.
So that's a dirty 20 plus the bardic inspiration plus 4, so 24. Can I glean anything about Turtonson's taste preferences?
Steamed fish.
Steamed fish.
Yeah.
Steam
sure.
deal.
Steamed deal.
Just straight steamed fish. Okay, so
Yep.
So Polly is going to go ahead and bring out the eel and probably a large bowl of rice or something like that, and present the eel and the bowl of rice to Turtman Turtonson, the 4th Esquire.
Yes.
7th Esquire.
Oh, sorry, 7th Esquire. Yes.
The
The
chat was
7th
very
Esquire.
specific.
Yeah, no. Chat / my husband was very specific. Yeah, the dragon turtle graciously, loudly, largely eats the eel. One bite, nothing left. All the rice gone.
Did he take my bowl too?
Did you pull the bowl away when it went to go?
Nope. I just put the bowl. I put the bowl down.
The bowl's gone.
Bowl's gone. Okay. Well.
A little extra fiber in their diet.
Yep.
Right, so
The
I think
texture
now-
was interesting of the rice. I like it. Reminds me of bones.
I mean, it's certainly fibrous. I'm sure you'll have a great time later.
Goodbye. And the dragon turtle like dives back under the water, but doesn't move. They'll like let you stay there. Yeah, you guys are
Right.
hanging out under the dragon turtles.
Yeah, so the plan, I believe, now is to stay in the shade until... do we get the impression how long it is till nightfall? There's 2 suns?
So Reloy will just straight up tell you that their days are usually this time of year when the suns are close to each other like this, pretty average for like what you guys would be expecting from a different world. So you've got about 12-ish hours, upwards of 12-ish hours of daylight, at least intense daylight. Like the sun will be setting in about 12 hours, but it won't be like fully dark in 12 hours.
Alright, so I think
So at this point, you guys have like
Yep.
8 hours left.
I think the plan would be to shift the crew into nighttime sleep schedules so that we are able to sail all night long. Or at least, I guess only Jake has to, because everyone else can do whatever, because I'm the one who has to be at the helm.
Can I actually try and chat with the turtle?
If you'd like, if you would like to call him back up.
Yes, I would. And I would like to ask him if there's any way that he could help. We could sort of piggyback off him a little bit of a ways to our destination.
Interesting. Okay.
So, Polly's gonna explain the situation. So, this is all in Draconic. So just so you know what's going on here. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get to this island. What was the name of the island again?
Romeo.
Romeo. You may know of it. It's about a 5 days trek from
Where we started.
And we're hoping to get there because that's where the captain wants to go. Is there any way that maybe while we're sort of chilling here on your back that we could get a little help moving towards that goal, and then we'll be out of your hair a little bit faster, right? You won't have to put up with us for too long.
Roll me a persuasion check.
I have my 3rd bardic inspiration.
So that is probably not happening. That was 6, 9, 11.
Okay.
Unless I can get advantage because I also have speak with animals.
Or because Jake could provide the help action, that's another thing I could do.
If you provide the help action, yeah, you can have advantage.
All right. So it's 18 then. So 18 plus 3, so 21 plus the 5 or the 2. So
there you go. 23 is much more respectable.
yeah.
Okay, so the dragon turtle pops just the tip of their head kind of up out of the water. Thinks about it. If you provide more food, then I have no issues with you utilizing my tree while you travel. It seems as though your vessel goes about the same speed I can from when I saw you approaching.
Is it... There's this big friggin' dragon swimming in the middle of the water. I'm guessing that nothing wants to get anywhere near it while it's swimming. So fishing is probably out of the question.
Well,
There's a reason that most
how...
of the time people have to provide fish to it in order to rest nearby.
Are there any... Can I tell whether or not there are edible plants growing on the turtle?
I feel like the dragon would be used to that particular food. My question is, if I feel like we probably have fishing rods in addition to nets, can we just get to the far edge of the turtle's perimeter while the ship just kind of nestles in the on the back of the turtle, and can we just fish from such a distance where we can acquire fish that are not swimming close enough to it to avoid it?
And here's something else I'll throw out. You guys do have smaller vessels that can be like sent off
boats.
from, like little rowboat kind of things. It can be sent off from your ship.
So we
can follow the turtle and fish.
So we would like drag a rowboat and then.
We've established we're fine. It's the ship that's not fine.
So I'm going to say to the dragon turtle, I'm going to say, if what you want to eat is specifically fish, that is going to take some. It's going to take some accommodation on our part to to actually get those fish. But if that's what you want, I will talk to my captain and we'll see what we can do about that. If you're okay with not fish, like I have plenty of grains, fruits, vegetables, eggs. I usually have lots of eggs I have access to. I can try to prep that for you instead if you think you prefer that.
I usually prefer meat. But depending on the non-meat item, I am not a picky eater. It just has to be sustainable.
Okay. I'm gonna say, okay, I will go discuss that with my captain. I'm going to, instead of going straight to Jake, I'm going to go to the galley, and I'm going to yell at Jake through the speaking stone. I'm going to explain the situation. Jake, the dragon turtle says that we can actually sort of travel along in the direction that we were originally going on its back, but we have to be able to provide it with some food. Can you think of a way that maybe we could get some fish? In the meantime, I'm going to be working in here, seeing if I can wrestle up enough eggs to make maybe an omelet or something that would be sufficient for the dragon turtle's tastes.
And then as a DM thought really quick, just when the dragon turtle pretty much said food, they were implying food for the journey, like at least like a day of food. Keep in mind how much food you have for your crew and how much that would probably have to do for a dragon turtle and whether that's feasible.
So I have about a month's worth of food for us, and the dragon turtle.
What do we have in the way of figs and strawberries?
Figs and strawberries.
Those are things turtles eat. Also collard greens and mustard greens, but who wants that?
I feel like a dragon turtle is more equivalent to like a non-fruit eating creature.
Yeah.
No, well, here's the thing. Primary diet of a turtle is protein, like grubs and stuff, but they also love fresh fruit and figs as treats.
Well, that is
Well,
where the question
so-
comes in. Is it a dragon turtle or a turtle dragon?
Okay, look. From what I understand, the dragon would rather eat Arnil than it would than it would figs and strawberries. So,
I mean,
I'm
did you
trying
even
to-
ask it how it feels about strawberries?
I asked him how he felt about fruits and vegetables, and he said as long as it was filling, he didn't really care too much. So,
Filling, so we should make him some pie.
I'm just glaring at you.
The
What
dragon
happened to
turtle
the
makes
pie
a
from
rather
earlier?
unhappy sound.
Oh,
So while I'm having this argument with Jacob for the speaking stone, I'm also gonna roll for eggs.
Okay.
So I'm doing that because I'm in my head thinking that I need to like try to summon up a whole bunch of eggs. So I rolled. Oh, I'm supposed to roll a d6. D6. I roll a d6, and that was a 6. So I roll again, and that's a 1. So since I rolled a d6, I roll a d6 again, and then I double whatever I rolled. So I summon 12 eggs times 2. So I'm summoning 24 eggs. So I'm making a 24 egg omelet for this giant.
I feel like that would be more than sustainable, considering the size of the eggs that Polly summons.
yeah.
So yeah.
So I've nicknamed this dragon Gaston.
Yes, so Gaston is getting a giant. I'll start by like obviously making like a much smaller omelet to see if like it's to its tastes.
No one eats like Gaston. No one greets like Gaston.
I'm not feeding raw eggs to this beast named Gaston.
How Gaston just ate them in the shell and all.
He
Yep.
did. That was
Honestly, you
disgusting.
probably could feed the dragon turtle eggs, shell and all.
Yeah, I could. So I will go ahead and I'll bring it and ask the turtle if that was to its liking.
Okay, does the dragon turtle like eggs? Honestly, whatever you had earlier with that rice that was crunchy was better, but this is fine.
Oh, we have tons of rice.
Yeah, tons of rice. Okay.
You get the idea, it's more of a texture thing.
Yeah, yeah. All right. I'll see what I can do about getting some meat along with this. But if you're okay with this, then maybe we can catch some stuff while we're moving along.
This is acceptable.
All right. And then I'm gonna tell Jake, ask him what the hell he wants to do about trying to get some.
We'll split into teams. Mr. Roy and I will take one ship, and Mr. Saros and Mr. Amar will take another of the lifeboats, and we will each fish for fish behind the turtle while we sail.
Also, did I proc wild magic with my egg spell, or is it itself the egg? Okay.
Nope. And I think since there was conversation about Polly not being here next session, that's actually a very good way for the split to happen for Polly not to be here. So it should work.
Yep.
Polly's just cooking.
Just cooking.
Lots of cooking.
Cooking non-stop for this dragon turtle and the crew.
And I'm sure she will need a very long rest afterwards.
Perfect.
Polly, how did my pie turn out?
How did your pie turn out? Your pie was cooked as best as Polly can make a pie.
Jake cuts up everybody a slice of pie.
It's a wonderful day for pie.
I use prestidigitation to make my pie taste precisely exactly the way I want it.
Can I make ice? I can make ice, can't I? Create and destroy water?
I believe so.
Now it's just making water. I made ice the other day. How did I make that?
You were in the coldest space for starters.
That's true. I want to make ice cream, but never mind. Don't worry about it.
You want to go make ice cream?
Well,
in
I was gonna
the middle
freeze.
of a burning. Hold on. Are you gonna make ice cream in a sweltering hot sea environment?
We
I
have
believe
hot.
this is called.
We have hot apple pie. It felt appropriate to also make ice cream with the oat milk that I had just made.
Making ice cream out of non-dairy milk is actually much more challenging. You need like an ice cream machine. It'll be so like divided.
Magic.
I don't think I can. I don't know.
You're saying I've made ice cream from scratch before, and it turns out kind of like chunky normally without an ice cream machine.
Yeah.
We're not going to describe non-dairy ice cream descriptions without ice cream machines anymore.
Alright, so do we all need to roll for fishing now?
So remind me who you said was splitting off from the boat.
Saros and Amar on one, and then me and Malloy on the other. I divided it up because if I'm the only strength-based character, we need two people who can actually do it okay together on a check to be able to haul the fish up.
Okay. Yeah, so I think, yeah, that's good. Yeah, it'll be a survival check pretty much. But, I mean, this is something that you guys are going to want to pretty much do, like, over the next couple days as you're traveling along with the dragon turtle. It's not something you have to necessarily rectify immediately. So if you do want to set out now, you are welcome to, but it's not something you have to do right this second.
Yeah,
like, you are welcome to wait until it gets to be nighttime if you want to wait.
The way I see it, it makes sense to just follow the turtle and do it because we're awake, and then sleep at night like we normally would. Like, that's just what we're doing instead of sailing the ship, since the ship is basically autopiloting right now.
Okay. Yeah, so it'll just be for you guys.
A bottomless supply of fish.
Yeah, so for anyone that is splitting off, it'll be a survival check. But yeah, so just because I know we're having this conversation third hand, I apparently can't tell time and didn't realize it was already 10 o'clock. So did you guys want to all keep going a little bit longer and possibly go to 11, or do you guys want to wrap it up soon? Because we can always start next session off with you guys split off, since Polly's staying back at the boat. And then we can have, instead of Reloy out, if you want Arnil, or if you want Arnil back at the boat, however we want to work that out. I'll leave that up to you guys and what you feel like doing for the night. If you guys want to keep going, we can go until a little bit closer to 11, but... Oh.
I'm fine. I only plan after this is to go to bed, and I don't go to bed this early on a Saturday.
Okay.
Everyone's good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure that was super clear so we weren't like going too long since it was past 10. So I just wanted to check in with everyone really quick. So we'll go a little bit longer and wrap it up in like half an hour, I think. But yeah, okay.
I rolled a 19 on survival for Jake to fish.
Reloy didn't totally mess you up. Reloy is awkwardly helping pull nets.
Yeah, I assumed Reloy was only here to provide the help action for me, honestly.
Yeah, help. Help is a word. Roll that, was it a D12 or a D6? D12, I think.
I think it was a D10.
Or D10, whatever I said that was. It was... Hold on. Let me find it again. No. D10, yeah.
I rolled a 4.
You get a few tiny little fish, like enough for like a humanoid, a single humanoid person.
Ah, Mr. Reloy, did you get the right net?
No, I think I grabbed the little one.
We sail back to the ship, drop off those fish, and get a better net.
Saros and Amar, how is your survival fishing going?
Dirty 20.
Perfect. Roll that d10.
Mm. 3.
I got a 19 and I have a +9 to it, so I got a dirty 28.
Jesus.
Reroll that the d10.
You want to do it?
You can, it's okay.
Mm. 9.
Oh no.
Yeah, another large eel. Hold on. Because I don't know if the large eel can fit on your little tiny boats.
I don't think it can.
I think that they just have it in the net on the side and they're stabbing into the net. And the bright side, while it's inside of a net, it is restrained, so you have advantage.
Yeah. I think you two enter initiative, but we can keep the same initiative from earlier just so we don't have to make you guys re-roll.
I didn't get a turn last time, that seems fair.
Yeah. So, let's see. Where did I write? I think Amar was going to be next, but I don't want to totally be remembering that wrong. Because...
Oh no, Soros got a 4. Soros was last.
16.
Yeah. Nope, so Amar would have been next. So yeah, you guys pull up another electric eel. Rather large one. Same size as before, but it's still rather large. No longer can fit on your little tiny rowboat. Amar, what are you doing about the eel on the side of your rowboat? Are you guys trying to row it back to the main ship to get some assistance, or are you guys going to deal with it yourself and just drag it back?
I'll try to row it back for assistance.
Sorry, I dropped my headphone out of my ear, so if you said something, I couldn't hear you.
I'm gonna try to row it back for assistance.
Okay. I'm gonna need an athletics check from both of you if you are choosing to row it back while it's alive. You can also do acrobatics, I think, if you'd like, since you were instigating this.
It's 17.
Okay. Yeah, no issues. How far out did you guys row from the main ship? Do you
I would
think?
assume still in sight.
Yeah, still in sight, but like, so I think it takes you guys a little bit longer while you guys are still pulling this thing. Like, it's not like giving you any trouble. Like, you don't feel like the boat's gonna tip, but it takes a little bit longer to get there. Jake and Roloy are able to see that you guys did catch something. So once we get back around to them, you guys can do something about that. Polly, you're busy cooking, so I don't think you would necessarily see what's going on unless you were peeking out.
Well, I was gonna ask whether or not the rowboats also had speaking stones in them.
Did you guys take speaking stones with you? I will leave that up to you guys if you think you honestly would have.
I don't think Saros would know that those exist, so...
Wait, isn't Saros from the island of Techno Druids?
No. Saros
No,
Saros
Saros
is
is
an
just
eternal hitchhiker. He's been bopping around from planet to planet looking for his star. Like, not necessarily that they don't exist in the world, but more that he didn't know that they were available to take.
Ah. Would Mr. Amar have taken a speaking stone?
I'm gonna say probably,
I feel like Jake definitely would have.
Yes, Jake did. Jake loves being able to shout back at everybody.
Okay, well, if someone shouted back to Polly would have gotten excited about the prospects of another eel. So she would have put a pause on what she was working on and ran out to go assist.
Okay. If there's anything you can do from a distance, Polly, you are also welcome to help. I will probably say they're about, honestly, probably like 65 feet away from the main ship right now. just outside that 60-foot range, so 65.
65.
And then I believe after that it would have been Saros. So Saros will be on deck if Polly once Polly is done.
Would Polly launch a guiding bolt? Don't know that she would.
They already have advantage on the eel if they want to hit it because it's restrained.
Yeah, I just would like guiding bolt is literally the. Actually, wait, hold on. That might not be true.
You have enough range on Sacred Flame?
I do not. It's only 60. Yeah, literally guiding bolt would be the only thing I could do anyway. I think is the eel like fighting them a lot?
Oh, it's fighting back. It's still very much alive. But they are not having an issue dragging it back to the ship right now.
Okay, if it doesn't look like they're having an issue, then I think Polly is just going to stand by.
Oh, you know what you can do? You can
What?
use a held action and cast Sacred Flame when their ship gets within range of you.
I was gonna say I'm gonna hold action. I think what I'm gonna do though is, yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll hold action, and I will Sacred Flame. So when it gets within 60 feet,
Okay.
I will go ahead and launch that.
Perfect. All right, Saros, you're up next.
Alright. Saros is gonna look at it over the side of the ship and just go, "Bad fish," and hit it a couple times with his post-stab.
Bad fish. Smack, smack.
The first one is a dirty 20.
You're a monk, aren't you? So you're just like casually slapping this fish with monk strike.
Yep. With the stick. And that was with advantage, right? Because the eel is restrained.
Mm-hmm. So I assume a 20 hits?
Oh yeah.
Alright. For 8 damage on the first hit. My dice like being twins tonight, but that is going to be a 17 to hit.
Hits. You're aiming to be an AC of 13.
Awesome. For 9 damage.
Okay.
Bonus action bitch slap.
Everyone's favorite bonus action.
And that's a crit.
Oh,
Nice.
okay. Okay, so I don't think you were here when we went over crit rules the first time.
Mm-mm.
So we use crit rules that we use on AOD. So it's you do it that way. That way you can't get a bad crit.
Cool. So that is. So that's 10 more damage.
And then roll me the
And
2d100s
it's
as
still
well.
alive.
Still alive.
Yeah. Willen, just 1 second before I do that, can I just have it do a con save for a stunning strike?
Sure. Considering the way my dice are rolling, it might fail. Can't imagine a 7 passes.
Nope. I think it's a lot easier to drag on the ship now.
Probably it's paralyzed, right?
Yeah, until
Yep.
until my next turn.
So also paralyzed creatures auto crit on hits.
So how does auto crit work with the wild magic table?
It doesn't. I'm not doing wild magic on auto crit. But the damage.
Awesome. And that's
And then yeah.
basically all I got for that. For the the crit table, I got an 11 and a 78.
Okay. I mean, neither of those is great, but this one's at least not harmful to you. For the next hour, crawling costs you no extra movement and allows you to ignore difficult terrain.
It's so random.
So random.
Okay.
The other one was actively bad, so cool. After Saros, it is the eel's turn. It is paralyzed, so it does nothing. It doesn't even a flop. You feel angry electricity coming off of it. Next is Reloy. Reloy is being Reloy in the other boat. After Reloy, it's Jake.
All right, how close are we to them?
You guys are probably closer. I'd say you guys are probably within like 30 feet of each other.
All right, so I guess use the ship's movement to get side by side. Oh, do you need me to stab another one of these things?
I think I can do it, but thank you. I just want to make sure that we are able to get it up on the deck.
All right, so you're saying you don't want me to finish it off with my instant crit then?
I mean, I can instant crit too, and kind of karma if you think. Instant karma is the song.
All right, if Jake and Roy are not needed, let me see if I can do anything else relevant that's not just killing the eel.
You could grab the other side of the net and help us drag it.
Oh, that's true. Yep, we're going to help drag the eel.
I have a question.
Sure.
Can
Reloy somehow makes this more challenging.
Would an eel drown if it were paralyzed in the water?
No, because it can still breathe. Like it breathes in water the way we breathe in air.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that would then get into the rules of do people start to suffocate while they're on ground if they're paralyzed in D&D, and I don't feel like we want to get into that territory, so...
Oh, that's fine, that's fine.
Hard mode.
I think I just gave it a cramp, and it just can't get around the cramp enough to attack us.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to viciously mock the thing, because that can't crit. Does it automatically fail saves, or does it need to make a save?
Yeah, I don't feel like looking that up, it's just gonna fail.
Alright, so it's gonna go ahead and take 2d4 of psychic damage as I tell it that I have a bigger eel in my pants, and it takes 7 damage.
Jesus.
Yeah, okay. How much do you... Wait, I'm sorry, you said what? Takes
7.
What? 7?
Yep. I rolled a 4 and 3 on the d4s.
You hear from the ship, thaumaturgy. Jake, focus on the task at hand. Because Polly definitely couldn't have heard that, but she knows. She knows.
Oh wait, Polly, did you ever do your Sacred Flame thing?
I did not. Did they get within 60 feet?
Yeah, I feel like at this point they probably are.
Okay, if they got within 60 feet, then yes, I did.
So it also auto-fails, so just roll your damage.
I just roll my damage, so it's just 1d8.
Should be 2d8 at our level now. Because you're level 5 or higher.
Yep. It's not
It's
if
2.
your class is, it's if you are.
D8, it's dead.
Yeah,
Wait, you said
11.
it's like 2d8? If it's 2d8, then because of the auto crit, it's dead.
Well, no, because it's a saving spell. So
But it's paralyzed still.
But it wouldn't be... a save or suck spell doesn't do crit damage.
Oh, okay.
So he can technically... Ursa can technically roll low enough for it to live.
Yeah.
Got it.
So you fail a dex throw, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it fails Dex.
Okay, so it's 11 radiant.
Yeah, it's dead.
It's dead, Jim.
It's dead, Jim. Cool. Yeah, you guys get another giant eel. At least one more day of food for the giant turtle.
Awesome. We have these little fish for everybody else.
Yeah.
Sushi.
Sushi, that means I can eat it raw. Cool. And she just picks up one of the little fish and swallows it whole.
Oh. Yikes.
Soros just looks very uncomfortable.
Okay.
I don't think you're supposed to eat them like that. That's not what sushi is.
Can I fucking Christ's sake, can I cast detect poison and disease on one of the on a fish that looks like the one that Jake just swallowed?
Yeah, sure.
I would like to roll sleight of hand for everyone to think I ate the fish and actually have it still in my palm.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm going to cast that. I want to know whether or not it is poisonous.
Alright, I rolled 15.
You're successful on the sleight of hand. The fish is not poisonous. It does appear magical.
Huh. that was
Alright.
that was unexpected. Okay.
I cast Detect Magic to find out what kind of magical the fish is.
Yeah, sure. What class of magic is this? Oh.
And then Polly and I both need to see if we proc wild magic off casting our respective spells.
Yes, you guys do. Polly does.
Only rolls a 32.
Okay, let's see. Hold on one second while I find both of these items.
Also, Jake, did you do the thing that you're supposed to do when you fish, which is to catch the fish and leave it submerged in water so that it's still alive, or did you or is the fish dead in the boat?
We dragged it along behind us like you did.
Okay.
You were casting Detect Magic on it,
Yes.
so that tells you the type of class of magic.
Yes.
Transmutation.
Uh,
And I'm sorry, you
These
said
things-
32.
Yeah.
For the next 8 hours, all words appear as silent, simple pictograms emerging from your mouth. Verbal spell components are unaffected. So you do not ask that question, but it does appear as a pictogram coming from your mouth.
so these fish look like they might be polymorphed something else.
I have a question now, because the reason I asked about whether or not the fish were alive is I was going to try to talk to one. But if I'm speaking in pictographs, is it going to You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to try to speak to one of the fish with this weird pictograph thing going on. So,
Sure,
first of all...
what are you trying to say?
First of all, do I trigger wild magic? And second of all, I'm going to ask the fish its name. Like, what is your name?
Okay, Cubert.
Wait, so are you casting another spell? Is that why you're asking about,
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
speak.
casting Speak with Animals.
Okay. No. Can this understand pictograms? Hold on. Okay,
Well, Polly's summoning pictograms.
Pictogram as a Ooh, there we go. Okay, so that should be able to, but can the fish?
These are such complicated, like, little tidbits that you're letting leak here.
That's not how fish is spelled. It's not foosh.
Foosh. We caught a foosh.
Foosh. Oh, there's a foosh. It's an ugly foosh. Fooshes cannot.
So
I look at the fish and I try talking to it in common. Like, are you actually a fish?
It flops around a lot.
I attempt to lay on hands to remove a condition that might have transmogrified this fish into a fish.
Does the flopping communicate anything? Because I could understand it. Yes, I have it on, so
Yeah.
I'll be able to understand. So does the flopping indicate anything?
Yeah. Just. So the flopping to you indicates that you how would I explain this? So
I feel like at this point it's just screaming.
again in Draconic. Yeah, okay, so in Draconic, again, you hear angrily from this flopping. I am the oldest ancient sea serpent of the entire ocean. I am here to destroy everyone and everything, and those horrible cave people have turned me into a tiny fish. Remove me from this fish hood so I can go destroy them all.
We caught a chihuahua.
Holy shit. Oh, okay. I'm gonna turn to Jake, and I'm gonna hold up both my hands because at this point I realized that there's pictograms just coming out of my mouth. So I'm gonna hold up both my hands, kind of shaking them like no. And then hold up a finger like wait a minute. Can I roll like Arcana or something to see if I would know how to reverse?
Dispel magic or remove curse would be my guesses.
Right, but I'm asking if Polly knows
Yep.
that.
You can roll me Arcana.
Okay. 16.
Okay. As a druid, you are familiar with other druids being able to cast polymorph. You are also aware there are multiple kinds of polymorph. It is unclear whether this is affected by a regular polymorph or a true polymorph. You therefore are not 100% sure about the way to removing this. Aside from the normal rules of polymorphing.
Are there normal rules of polymorphing that don't involve dropping the HP to 0?
making the other person who's casting polymorph lose concentration.
All right. All we have to do is hit the fish non-lethally. It'll turn back into a serpent when it's unconscious.
No, then it goes back into a serpent that's very conscious and going to destroy things, from what it had told Polly.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. So I asked the fish for Polly. Were you polymorphed in? You were polymorphed into this form, yes? Do we have your permission to hit you to cause you to turn back, and you'll leave us peacefully?
Does the ancient serpent want to leave you peacefully?
I mean, we are also next to an ancient dragon turtle who was very hungry.
Oh, yeah, no. Definitely, depending on what the response is, I'm literally thinking of just picking the fish up and throwing it in the dragon turtle's mouth.
Turtenson, how do you feel about ancient serpents?
Well,
delicious.
You wouldn't know that, because I'd have no way of conveying...
Yes, you do pictograms. You can do
pictograms.
Is delicious.
Do my pictograms indicate ancient serpent?
It's just the emojis for old man and like snake.
This is just emoji speak, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the little green dragon emoji, but then like it's an old man.
All right. If we turn you back, and you leave peacefully, our dragon turtle friend will not try to eat you. How's that sound?
Oh, okay. So more angry flopping.
Can I roll intimidation on the fish? Can I just threaten to feed it to someone?
You sure can.
What the fuck is happening?
I roll intimidation on the fish.
That is 14. Unless you want to give me advantage because it is tiny and I am not.
But you're smaller than it normally is.
I am smaller than it normally is, but I could just... I guess eating, if I ate it, I would just explode, huh?
Okay, so...
Oh shit, we can't feed it to the dragon turtle if we wanted to, because if its hit points hit 0 and it goes back to its original form, we don't know how big this ancient serpent is.
I mean, it's of a size where the dragon turtle can eat it. We just established that.
Right, now. But
no,
when
the dragon turtle said that serpents are delicious. That means that it's on top of the serpent in the food chain.
Okay.
Or somewhere along the equal line.
You
just know that the ancient turtle has eaten sea serpents before. All other life forms are beneath me. I will do as I please.
All right.
Return me to my normal form.
All right, what was your name, Mr. Serpent?
I do not give my name to people that are beneath me.
All right, I take it into the captain's quarters. I plunk it in a fishbowl.
Oh my god, what are you doing?
And then
and that's where we'll end our session.
Wait, it gets better. I'm not... Give me a second here. I put the fishbowl on one of the extra lifeboats and just send it off into the ocean.
Aww.
Oh, that no. I'm sorry. If you're putting it in a fishbowl, it's gotta stick around, man.
Okay, fine. Fine. It's just in my quarters in the fishbowl until we can find a way to remove it where it doesn't think it's beneath us. And then I sprinkle little fish flakes at the top of the fishbowl for it.
Yes.
I will point out right before we end everything, sharp teeth, tiny fish, tiny floppy fish.
Oh god.
Angry.
Here, I was thinking we were just gonna use it as use the bowl as a chamber pot.
Oh no.
Oh.
Pet. And if he doesn't give me a name, I'm gonna name him.
Right?
Oh, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you've been watching or listening, we appreciate you and all of the chaos that you've stuck around through these shenanigans. We will be back every other Saturday, so next will be the 21st, I believe is the date.
Yes.
Yeah, next Saturday that we will be streaming is the 21st, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It has been a pleasure. I am Xtina, or Xtina, across the internet. You can find me pretty much anywhere at Greekachu. We'll see how social medias are currently panning out. Are still kind of blurring. So I'm on. You can find me usually playing Winterra Dark Knight over on the Agents of Damn podcast. We release every other Friday, and we are nearing our campaign 1 closure soon, sometime in the next couple months. So we're very excited. See how everything wraps up for all of our wonderful first-time damned agents. But thanks, and I will let everyone else go. We'll do reverse order, I think, of how we went in. So I think that was Polly that ended it before. So I think you'll start.
Hi, I am playing Polly. My name is Ursa. I edit for the Bard Rock
The
Cafe.
The other Paul, Justin. Thank you.
For the Bard Rock Cafe, I also edit for CMDR Central. You can find me at Ursa Bearwalker at pretty much everywhere.
Coach J. Rowley on Summon Skull. I do mostly magic-related things, but I also do some D&D-related things. Also Coach J. Rowley on Summon Skull in different places. I run the Skull Symbol Discord server. I write for EDH Rec. And I'm also waiting to see how the social media smoldering fire turns out.
I'm Allison. I have been Sorrow Stellan. I'm pretty off socials. We'll see if there's any socials left for me to be off. You can find me here. It's been a pleasure playing.
And I am Paul. I normally play Brock Song on the Bard Rock Cafe podcast, but tonight I played Captain Jake Swallow, the drunken lunatic who really shouldn't be in charge of this crew. I hope you enjoyed my shenanigans as much as I enjoyed making them. My Twitter's PeakHinter13, but I mostly tweet about magic stuff, and now I'm starting to tweet about writing stuff because I started blogging on Medium. If you want to pay attention to TTRPG stuff, I'm also in charge of the Bard Rock Cafe Twitter. That's who I'd pay attention to over me for TTRPG stuff.
Great. And just as a reminder, Bard Rock Cafe is sponsored by Dragon Master Games and Fanroll Dice. They have wonderful, amazing codes that you can use for discounts on things and helps support the show and helps them grow. And then if you liked what you saw on the Wild Magic tables, those were from the DM's Guild and they were made by Dave Panfio. And as just a final closure to the usual DM of Bard Rock Cafe, happy birthday, Kenny. We hope you have enjoyed your amazing, wonderful day and spent some well-earned time celebrating. Bye, guys.
Night.
Bye.